We add some oomph on that. It is important that you're thankful for everything. As I would say, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. It's a beautiful Thursday, and I'm here once again, always gracing your week, always making sure that you have the best of the week. Make sure that you are entertained. Make sure that you are informed. We get you to the gym. We get you to knowing how to, you just have some cooking tips and many other things that we always capture. But importantly, we discuss the issues that are of great importance to us, the politics of the day, the current affairs. We look at how, the market is like in terms of, just understanding the economics aspect of, the country and so much more. And today we'll not do anything short of that. We'll be getting into understanding the intrigues and the discussions that are on in regards to the BBI, in regards to the relationship that exists between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So make sure that you keep it right here. We'll be having two gentlemen who will join me for the same, and also later on for the gym beat, we'll also have two gentlemen that will get us right here. Remember, we also have so much in store for you. Easter is here. And yes, there's so much that is, of course, in store to make you entertained, to make you, feeling good. We say that it's an Easter that has, come at a point where we really cannot move much. We cannot do anything. And sometimes it feels like it's just going to be any other day. No. I mean, starting from the morning, that is Good Friday, we'll have lots of love being shared to you all the way from the Ngong Hills Hotel. And so we'll have a special Easter edition that will be coupled with great music. You'll be entertained by Pitson, the band, or the band, that is being led by Pitson. When you hear him, I mean, the music is always refreshing. It's always a nice experience. So keep it right here. Equally with Zawadi, the band, who will be sponsoring the session that is at the Ngong Hills Hotel. Importantly, we'll also have goodies from Mizizi Africa Homes. Yes, Mizizi Africa Homes will always have something special for you, especially on the holidays. So when you're getting this moment that, you're speaking of lands and all that, who knows? You can speak to them and they could be having these affordable rates for you. So why don't you try them out? And even if they do not give you that extra offer, in most cases, whatever it is that they have at hand is amazing. So take advantage of that. We also do not forget to say that, Easter, you speak of Easter, you speak of nice food, you speak of nice Easter eggs, speak of nice cakes and all that. And so, courtesy of Valentine's Cake House, I'll award you that cake. So if you can't bake, worry not, I got you covered. And so we'll be giving out or dishing out cakes. I'll give you a cake voucher. You go and you march into any, Valentine's Cake House branch across the country. They're about 20 something, and you are sorted. You have something at least that you can enjoy with your family. Also, that is to tell you that in as much as the hotels is closed, you can go and get your takeaway and everything, but we still have the accommodation aspect at Ngong Hills. And so you can just say staycation with family, and they have amazing rooms down there. Let me not speak much because, well, you'd probably think that Linda is lying. Just wait for Friday and we'll take you through all that. It will be a nice session. It's just tomorrow actually. So let's not say wait for Friday as though Friday is like 53 years or days to come. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning. An incredible show awaiting you. But that's not to say again that today's show is not going to be interesting. It will be interesting. The discussions are out of this world, and equally just loosening up. We said if you're at home, you can gym up, just make sure that you do not get yourself eating and working and you forget to take care of your body. So that's what we'll be doing this morning on Fitness Thursday. So karibu sana. Briefly on what the papers have, the first story of the People Daily, humble member of parliament who wielded huge authority. And President leads Kenyans in mourning. Kiambaa legislator, that is Paul Koinange, who died in a Nairobi hospital yesterday morning. And lots of people have come out to send their message of condolences. It's pretty much unfortunate looking at how things are. And well, having been confirmed to have, succumbed to complications of COVID-19, that's also a strong reminder to us that COVID is real and we need to be careful. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to abide abide by what it is that has been dictated by the Ministry of Health in terms of following up on these restrictions that are set. They might not look good, they might not be comfortable, but trust you me, it is worth, at the end of the day, you will say, you know, it is good that you took care of yourself. And that's exactly what this message speaks of, even as we also here send our message of condolence to the family, friends, and the people of Kiambaa. And as we say, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Also, just a recap of what has played out. Indeed, the National Assembly has really been hit hard. The losses of lives that we've seen, our leaders, you know, succumbing to different conditions, the cancer also being amongst them, is pretty much unfortunate. And, you know, a clarion call that we need to really go out there and see that we have the government taking good care of the health facilities that we have around, you know, making the best of the health centers that we have around, so that at least Kenyans can be guaranteed of proper health care. Away from that, AstraZeneca runs out as Sputnik arrives. Entry of Russian COVID-19 vaccine stars debate with the private hospitals saying they had run out of the government-funded jab. And that's a story that has raised lots of controversies and questions around as to who really placed the order, how did they get into the country, a lot of questions arising as to this. But then again, well, what's important is that the Ministry of Health and, you know, the Poisons Board proceeded to approve of it. The only thing that was not approved of is the circulation or distribution of the same, but all the same, it is here. The likes of Deputy President William Ruto, lawyer Donald Kipkorir, also lawyer or senior counsel Ahmed Nasir, amongst the key figures that have already gotten the jab. What does it mean? Conversations are on as to why it is in the country, and I mean the reasons why, and whether indeed it is totally approved, and whether it works also handy, just as AstraZeneca would to get people, you know, having that protection against COVID-19. President and Raila phone chat that calmed BBI fear, and unity pledge. The morning conversation between the two handshake partners dwelled on the state of the union and the future of the law amendment project, following murmurs of discontent from ODM leaders that Uhuru was no longer enthusiastic on their relationship. A story captured on page 4. We'll actually get to hear what the panelists think about this. We still talk of the shaky handshake, in as much as we say there are phone calls here and there. In most cases, well, it's not always clear as to what is the way forward. And so these fears probably could be justified or not justified. It's just a question of wait and see as to how this is going to be handled and what it would mean for this instrumental process of changing the constitution. And not really changing, but actually amending it. Kenyans unhappy with spiraling debt patterns. And here is one thing that we speak about, and how the finance sector, or better yet, the economy of the country is in tatters. In a survey, majority say they feel anxious, angry, or fearful about the level of Kenya's borrowing, because then this makes it even tougher. It trickles down to the people. When you hear of conversations that yes, the prices of fuel will go high, when you know very well that electricity is extremely expensive as it stands right now, then you get worried as to where we are headed as a country and what this then would mean for the common mwananchi. But away from that, Sudan pays about 33 billion for Nairobi blast victims, and the US government yesterday said it had received about 335 million from Sudan as compensation for the victims of the bombings of the American embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. That is sometimes in 1998. It was quite a dark moment that many people would probably remember, you know, with so much tears or with so much pain. And there you go. We can wait to see what happens. Mombasa police probe a child trafficking ring, and that is something that has been ongoing in Nairobi, across different parts of the countries. And we can hope that indeed such can be addressed. And we drop on what has been captured on the People Daily. Let's look at the Daily Nation briefly. It's official. Raila in State House raise. It is no longer a question of if former Prime Minister Raila Odinga wishes to take a fifth stab at the presidency, but whether his two opponents will step aside to give him a free pass or take him, or or take him home, that is in the primaries, and let the members decide is a question of wait and see. We're talking about the likes of Joho, who also registered their interest when ODM declared the race open, and they said anyone who'd wish to run with the ticket, then they can proceed to pay the 1 million fee that is non-refundable to see to it whether they can, get a chance to be the flag bearers of ODM. And Right Honorable Raila Odinga had not done that, but yesterday he proceeded to pay the 1 million shillings, or 1 million fee, and now we wait to see what plays out. As upon that conversation that he said, well, he will only declare his interest, that is, whether he's going to go for the presidency or not, right after the BBI. But what does this mean, and what does it speak about the BBI, which is likely also to bring a different face of matters leadership, where we're going to probably have president's ceremonial, so to speak, and we look to have a prime minister for that matter. They're looking for a hybrid system, and so we wait to see what plays out in regards to this, whether the BBI will sail through. Then upon that, we get to hear what the move of this gentleman will be. And so 3 counties run out of free COVID-19 vaccine. At least 3 counties have run out of the AstraZeneca vaccine, with hospitals turning away thousands of eligible Kenyans who've been going out there for the jab. What does that mean? A lot of fears raised as to this, and also still not clear as to when we get the second doses of the same jabs, because India, on the other part, argued that they will hold that until that point where they're able to sustain their own local needs. Then they will consider how they get these other ones into different countries. Justice for Nature conservationists want British to pay for Samburu fire. Also a story captured on page 20, a different story. Murderers grounds scenic Ngong Hills turn into eerie killing fields at night. A story captured on page 12. The aspect of insecurity is one thing that needs to be addressed also across different counties, different areas. You can always grab a copy. Like I said, it is a story that has been expounded on page 12 of the Daily Nation. Yes, Koinange Uhuru, top ally, dies, and lots of people coming out to condole with his family, his friends, and equally the people of Kiambaa, a constituency that he represented. A different story altogether, how Mwalimu Sacco lost its fortune, and while many have really banked on the SACCOs, have really gone to SACCOs, rushed to SACCOs to probably have their monies being taken care of there, and equally have the chances of all these are financial benefits that would come along with working with SACCOs. Sometimes it's not all rosy, and some of the crucial SACCOs that we've known, or the key SACCOs that have been known in the country, running into tatters and rendering their members into a state of disarray, a state of worry as to what happens with their finances and all that. You can grab a copy, get to see that story on page 4 and 5. That's all that we have on the papers. We'll be looking at them extensively alongside my guests, but for now, let's look at what has been captured briefly before we get there. Let's just see whether there is worry on the roads. We've not had that set, but not to worry. Sometimes it's always good to look at what it is that is on the roads, but before we open that, let's look at the Daily Diary. As you can see there, the Inspector General Mutiambai Prisons CG Ogalo and NTSA boss Jao to issue joint Easter holiday statement today on COVID containment operations. We are eagerly waiting to hear what restrictions will be given or what will happen. Are they going to loosen up the news some bit so that people can enjoy these Easter celebrations? We'll be following up closely on that. And remember also today, there was supposed to be that report. Yes, remember also today there was supposed to be that report coming from the joint committee that is addressing the aspect of the BBI. We wait to see, we wait to hear what it is that they will speak about, and whether there's going to be that conversation ongoing, and we keep you up to tabs in regards to the same. Briefly on the roads, this is Mombasa Road from down Mlolongo. It is pretty much good until you get to this point of around around Syokimau, and then here you are around Cabanas is where you find that there's quite heavy traffic as they get to connect from the airport road and these other roads. And so this traffic proceeds all the way to Imara Daima, and then there's road works that are ongoing here, as you can see. Then after that, it eases up a bit, and then it becomes a smooth all the way. As you can see, the southern bypass as it comes to connect to Mombasa Road is also not looking bad. And then we proceed down with Mombasa Road around South B here, around South C Estate, Bellevue. That is as you get to connect to them. You find some tenets of traffic, one as you come from town and also as you are going to Mombasa Road up there, then that traffic eases up all the way to the roundabout. It's not looking bad this morning. This is Lusaka Road. It's pretty much of an ease. On this other side, Bunyala Road, it's also not looking so bad. And also on this other end, there's some road works happening or going on as you get to connect to Mbagathi Way and Langata Road. And so, well, much as there's road works, there's not much of alarm in terms of traffic. Langata Road is all rosy this morning. That is to and from Tan. And on the other side, you can see that Mbagathi is also not looking so bad at this point. So you need not to worry if you're taking that direction. This is Ngong Forest Road and connecting to the southern bypass, which also looks good this morning. The Ngong Road itself, and Ngong Road is here. It's pretty much of an ease, as you can see. There is no cause for alarm all the way as you get to the city, Valley Road, State House, Agwings Kodek Road. All these roads are looking good this morning. Kikambala Road and down to these sides of Lavington and Kileleshwa, as you can see. There's not much to worry about. This is Lavington and Lavington Mall. You connect to James Gishuru, and James Gishuru this morning is also not so bad, even as you come all the way to connect to the sides of Wayaki. Wayaki is also smooth this morning, no cause for alarm. Gitanga Road evidently also smooth. And as you proceed to the sides of Kwangware, it's pretty much of an easy this morning. The likes of Chiromore is good. In University Way is also not looking so bad, as you can see down there. Parklands Road, all rosy this morning. Muranga Road, all rosy. Kawangware and Ngara West, sorry, Kipandi Road, all rosy this morning. Some bit of tenets of traffic somewhere around Gikomba. But then it does not look as ugly as you'd probably expect. And down to Jogo Road, there's some tenets of traffic around Jogo Road. This is, around Makadara, but it's not as heavy as you'd expect or as it has always been. And so pretty much of an ease, as you can see down here, some bit of traffic and following us to Outer Ring Road. Outer Ring Road is all rosy this morning, connecting to these sides of Manyanja. It's not looking so bad, just some small bits of traffic that is evidently moving, as you can see. And down here, as you get to connect to Outer Ring, there is Juja Road, and Juja Road is not looking so bad this morning. It's pretty much of an ease. Komarok Road, down there, it's evidently looking all rose. And down here also you realize that Kangundo Road is not as bad this morning. And so when you go all the way to Allsops and you connect to Thika Road, and down Thika Road is not looking bad, all the way from Githurai, Safari Park, all the sides of Risambo, and you come to this bit of Allsops after their drive-in, and down there up to these sides of Muthaiga, where Mathare Mental Hospital is. It's pretty much of an ease on Thika Road until you get somewhere around Pangani. You get to find yourself into the city. Some tenets of traffic, not so heavy, and so that is to tell you it is quite of an ease this morning. The northern bypass looking all good. Limuru Road, Kiambu Road, all looking good this morning. Anything that happens around you, if you are on the road, kindly update us so that we are all on the same page and we all know what to expect and what direction to avoid. Otherwise, as of that, let's drop it and briefly look at what my team has prepared. The sale and distribution of the Russian manufactured Sputnik vaccine will begin next week. This is according to the Ministry of Health, that now insists Sputnik vaccine is not any better than the AstraZeneca vaccine, as Zainab Mohammed gives us the details.
After disputing the presence of a second vaccine in the country for quite some time, the Ministry of Health has now announced that the sale and distribution of the Russian-manufactured COVID-19 vaccine will officially begin next week.
Indeed, we have this vaccine available in the country. Number two, the vaccine has received emergency use authorization by PPB. Number three, we have been able to engage the distributors to identify the facilities that will be able to offer this vaccine.
According to the ministry, a list of the hospitals administering the vaccine will be released, with those offering the Sputnik vaccine being barred from offering the AstraZeneca vaccine.
If a facility is dealing with private sector vaccines, it will not be issued with the free public health sector vaccines. So there will be no dual, because there will be a conflict there. So you will choose either you support government efforts to give the no-cost vaccine, or you go into the business that you know best.
However, the ministry insists no vaccine is better than the other.
That we all understand, not just for Sputnik, not just for AstraZeneca, not just for Moderna or Pfizer or J&J, that to date, there has been no scientific study that has compared Sputnik versus Astra versus Pfizer versus Moderna. And so the numbers that we've been sharing with you when it comes to efficacy are numbers that have come about from independent studies that have been carried in the different regions or geographies where the trials have been done. But as it stands today, no vaccine has been compared against another. And so even as we stand here today, we cannot tell you that Sputnik is better than Astra or any other way around.
On reports online of Kenyans who have received the Sputnik vaccine, the Ministry of Health says it has already summoned the distributors on the matter, warning that should such marketing messages progress, their emergency use approval may be revoked.
This morning, the task force met, and the pharmacy board, which sits there, informed us that they have already summoned the distributors of this particular vaccine, and they have actually given them a warning in writing. And if that kind of marketing continues, they'll be in contravention of the pharmacy board rules, and therefore that vaccine, the emergency use authorization can be withdrawn.
Among other vaccines being reviewed for approval in the country include Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer and Moderna. This even as Wajir is declared the county with the least number of COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began. In the last 24 hours, Kenya has recorded a total of 1,412 cases and 6 deaths. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
And barely days after President Uhuru Kenyatta issued a new raft of measures to tame the spread of the coronavirus pandemic in the country, pressure has continued to mount on President Kenyatta to ease some of the COVID-19 directives, with hospitality and entertainment sectors arguably bearing the heavier brunt. Workers in the two sectors are now urging the president to go back to the drawing board. And as David Mudoka reports, talk on the unlocking of the country that has also been gathering steam online is as well simmering within the corridors of power.
Calls of distress rent the air across various parts of the Nairobi Central Business District on Wednesday morning, as sections of workers from the hospitality and entertainment sectors made twists and turns aiming for the office of the president at Harambee House. Theirs was a march to simply pass the message that the two sectors were choking under the new stricter COVID-19 directives issued by President Uhuru Kenyatta in his 15th address to the country on the coronavirus pandemic. In the speech that came amid a third wave of the COVID-19 disease, President Kenyatta announced, among other measures, the cessation of movement into and out of 5 counties that were categorized as red counties, closure of all bars as well as the partial closure of hotels in the 5, and a review in curfew hours to 8 p.m. from 10 p.m. in the 5, among them Nairobi, Kajiado, Kiambu, Nakuru and Machakos. The march would, however, hit a dead end a stone throw away distance from Harambee House when protesters encountered security officials armed to the teeth, but not before taking a swipe at the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Sisi ndio tunaleta ile pesa mingi kwa economy. Looking at it realistically, sisi ndio tuna entertain how tourists ambao unakubali wanakuja Kenya na sisi hatuwezi tukatembea freely. Sisi ndio tunawapea malazi, sisi ndio tunawapea security, sisi ndio tunawapea chakula. We make them happy so that they come back again to our country. Na sasa hivi sisi hatuna kazi, sisi tuko nyumbani.
Same creatives you politicians use siku za elections kuwasaidia na hizo campaigns. Sasa hii mmetuangusha, mmetudisappoint. Mr. President, one main point. Ile 100 million ulisema unapeana, let me tell you, kuongea ukweli, 80% of the musicians ulikuwa unatutumia hatujapata.
The ripple effect of the strict guidelines has continued to be felt even in the rest of the 42 counties that were not subjected to the new raft of COVID-19 measures. In Mombasa County, the hub for both local and international tourism in the country, hospitality and entertainment sectors are staring at another gloomy Easter season following the measures barring all forms of traveling from the one-zoned area just when the two sectors thought they were bouncing back. It is this agony among these two sectors that has also sparked a debate online. Under the hashtag Unlock Our Country, hoteliers, DJs, musicians, waiters and entertainers have continued to lay bare their anguish, with others making snide comments in the push to ease some of the new restrictions.
Nimefanya makosa gani kusema hakuna daily bread tena kwa watoto?
Hauoni makosa yote na kusema hivyo?
Hakuna watoto ndio wamekuwa wakispread, wakisambaza hii kitu hawa youth watoto wao.
Watoto wagani na wewe umekuwa kuwaletea maanko hivi tunawaletea bibi ya hii mkate?
Mimi
wewe umekuwa ukiwaletea maanko hapa kwa nyumba.
But will the government really bow into pressure? According to Health CAS Masi Mwangangi, a review of the measures is imminent.
We have a technical task force. In fact, the task force is meeting tomorrow at 2:00. And when it meets, it shall review the current COVID-19 situation in the 5 counties. We shall examine the different matrices that we utilize in determining whether the situation is getting any better or any worse.
This means the president could yet again find himself between a rock and a hard place, as another tough balancing act of ensuring that the country does not jump out of the frying pan into the fire awaits barely a week after his 15th national address. David Mudhoka, TV47.
On the same note, a section of residents of Gatanga in Murang'a County now want the government to ease access into and out of the county following the erection of a roadblock at Blue Post area. Meanwhile, business operators in Kajiado County want some of the containment measures eased, as Mudhoni Minor reports.
Nowhere through is the current message being passed at Blue Post area, as police officers are manning the area, giving residents of Gatanga a hard time to maneuver in and out of Murang'a County. Drivers and residents are having a hard time trying to explain the errands they have to run in areas of Kenol and Maragua where many work. According to Murang'a County Women Rep Sabina Chege, the police officers should be considerate of the residents' woes, as some work at Kenol and Maragua town. The county health admin put the same sentiments into consideration, as Murang'a County is not listed for a lockdown.
Constituency ni mojawapo ya zile constituency ambazo tungetaka county commissioner na pia county commandant na pia wale wasimamizi wote waangalie kwa undani zaidi, kwa sababu katika pale kwenye boundaries kuna wale ambao ni wakaaji wa Murang'a na wako kwenye boundaries na wanafungiwa kutoka pale Blue Post kuingia hata kule ndani Gatanga tunapata roadblocks. Na ningeomba sana wale ambao ni wakaaji na watu wasijifanye ni wakaaji. Kuna mtu ambaye ametoka mbali, ukimwangalia tu hata utajua yeye ametoka mbali, ni kudanganya. Lakini wale ambao ni wakaaji hapa Murang'a waangaliwe maslahi yao, kwamba wapewe ile nafasi ya kutembea katika kaunti yao.
Kumekuwa na changamoto sana hasa leo kwamba wananchi watukufu wa Gatanga hawawezi kuenda county headquarter yao Murang'a. Huduma zingine za hospitali kule Keno, za stima pale Kabati, wanashindwa kwenda kutatua hizo matatizo yao kwa sababu kupita pale ni shida. Hivyo gavana na watu wa Gatanga wanaomba wafunguliwe pale, manake Murang'a haijafungwa.
Gatanga residents want security officials to transfer the roadblocks near the Chania River.
Ya hiyo mafuta ya kutoka hapa, hata mwenye mtoto utamuongezea gharama, hata utamfanya nini? Ako kwa gari na uko naye, utamfanya nini? Hata nyinyi bedeni muongee, mjaribu hii kitu iondoke hapa iende kwa mto.
Elsewhere, Kajiado County hoteliers are crying out to the government to allow them access meat and other hotel requirements, as they feel the pinch of the new containment measures.
COVID-19 au corona imetuadhiri sana, maana mimi ni mfanyabiashara wa nyama.
Tumeadhirika pakubwa kwa sababu hata wafanyikazi tumepunguza, wako na shida, tumewapunguza. Kazi tulikuwa naye hapo mbeleni sasa hivi haiko. kwa sababu ya COVID.
The economic sector has been hardly crushed and crippled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Modhoni Maina, TV47.
And messages of condolences have streamed to the family, friends and constituents of Kiambaa following the death of their Member of Parliament, Paul Koinange, who succumbed to COVID-19 early Wednesday morning. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta led the country in mourning Koinange, who has been mentioned as a dependable and a servant leader, as Mwangi Maina reports.
The country has continued to mourn the loss of Paul Koinange, Kiambaa Member of Parliament, who passed on early Wednesday morning. Koinange, who was chairing the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security, was a second-term MP who has been praised for his servant leadership. In his message of condolence, President Uhuru Kenyatta has mourned Koinange as a dependable leader whose undivided focus was the unity, stability and progress of the country. Uhuru says Koinange was a keen and steadfast supporter of the country's peace agenda through the National Assembly's Departmental Committee on Administration and Security, where he was a chairperson. On his part, Deputy President William Ruto mourned Koinange as a dependable, illustrious and visionary figure who worked for the people of Kiambaa constituency with diligence. Ruto said Koinange's exceptional servant leadership will be missed. While mourning Koinange, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i said colleagues in the internal security sector will miss his wealth of experience, unparalleled wisdom and political maturity that strengthened them all. Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibisho and Kiambu County leaders, led by Governor Nyoro, sent their condolences to mourning Koinange as a true servant leader.
Having traveled with the security forces across the country, he could see how women, children, and other people are suffering because of lack of peace.
And I want to appeal to the people, not only of Kiambu, but the entire country, that we have to rethink our approach to COVID-19. This is no longer a business as usual. We cannot no longer take it casually. People are dying. We have been told hospitals are full, and so many things are not in place anymore because we are almost getting to the point of being overwhelmed.
On their part, grief-stricken MPs who sat together with Koinange in the Security Committee at Parliament mourned him as a father figure who was dependable and dedicated to his work.
Alitushikilia kama komiti vizuri, na hata ile nyumba hakukuwa ati yeye ni tangatanga ama kieleweka, alikuwa analeta watu pamoja.
He has passed on before we have finalized the report that we are compiling, which will have weighty issues that will require fundamental change in the administration and national security.
Honorable Koinange also had his vision, the idea that cattle rustling must come to an end within this term, and we were thinking of legislative and other interventions we could put into place.
Kiambaa residents reminisce the moments they spent with their leader, saying he was a leader close to them. They have hailed him for initiating developmental projects in the constituency, ranging from establishment of new schools and police stations.
Aliingia hapa wakati ambapo shule zote za secondary school zilikuwa zimebadilishwa kuwa shule za wasichana. Akakuta hapa vijana wote hawana mahali pa kwenda. Kutokana na haya, Koinange akaanza harakati za kuanzisha mashule ya mixed boys and girls secondary school.
Koinange brings to 6 the total number of MPs in the 12th Parliament who have passed on in a span of 12 months. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the Public Investments Committee of the National Assembly has resolved to summon former KEMSA board chairperson, that is Kembi Gitura, over the ongoing probe. Members of Parliament have already raised queries into President Kenyatta's decision to move Gitura from the KEMSA board to head the board of the Communications Authority, as Elizabeth Mutuku tells us.
The Public Investments Committee at the National Assembly is set to invite former KEMSA board chairman Kembi Gitura after he was adversely mentioned in the ongoing probe. Suspended CEO Jonah Manjari says Gitura, who has since been transferred to head the Board of Communication Authority, influenced a tender which was awarded to Villa Surgical Limited, one of the companies under investigations.
And these checks were in the custody of the finance director. So he will draw all the checks, they will be presented to my office, I will sign. And the second person, whoever is in the office will be looked.
Give us the names.
Sorry?
Manjari was grilled by the committee after he was also mentioned by some of those who appeared before the committee. The Senate's Health Committee concluded its investigations into the scandal with a conclusion that suspended KEMSA CEO and 5 other officials should be investigated over alleged procurement irregularities.
Was aware of all the going-ons that were happening at KEMSA. In fact, in your own words, you said that the chair would sit and have coffee or tea, I don't know, but it was a hot beverage, I remember. But he was seated there having tea or coffee, and he would see all these commitment letters going in and out.
Retrospective tendering is a sweet word of saying we sanitize. It's a way of sanitizing processes which has earlier been done or overstepped, but you come back to make it look like the law has been complied with. That is the word, that is sanitizing an illegality of a process. And you have
In the report, the committee accuses Manjari of masterminding a 7.6 billion scandal on the procurement of COVID medical equipment. Manjari's co-accused include Charles Juma, Director Procurement, Eliud Muridhi, Director Commercial Services, Frederick Wanyonyi, Director Legal Services, Edward Njoroge Juguna, Director Operations, and Waiganchu Karanja, Director Finance and Strategy.
No. What you have said is that you do not understand why they will. You've actually called you've called them lovers. You've called other of your colleagues. You don't understand why they would do this. And I just want to put it in clear in one thing. The center of gravity on all these matters is you, because all these allegations, all of them are not accusing each other, but all of them are accusing you.
It is what is called self-cleansing.
It's self-cleansing?
Yes.
At your expense?
Yes.
Okay.
Manjari, however, defended himself from the accusations. Manjari says the procurement directors Charles Juma and procurement secretary were lovers and therefore tried to frame him. Juma, who has since been suspended, said they procured from bidders with lower prices, shorter delivery period, favorable payment terms, and favorable minimum order quantities.
That I listened.
Okay, I just want you to be aware that
yes.
Pamela has said under oath that you gave her instructions to backdate a letter from 6th of May. You backdated it to 30th of April.
Chair, it is her word against mine.
Okay, and the word of Mr. Juma as well.
And I would say the word of Mr. Juma as well.
Manjari says he didn't act under any duress. He did what he was supposed to do.
I worked only under stress to provide commodities, not duress from someone sitting behind me or with a rungo or a fimbo or whatever it is, forcing me to do any work. I did it for this nation as patriotic.
You basically are taking responsibility.
I did it, yes.
Okay.
MPs have questioned the transfer of Gitura to the Communications Authority before investigations are completed. Elizabeth Motuko, TV 47 Nairobi.
Thanks, Liz, for that. Now to a story that equally forms the basis of our conversation this morning. ODM boss Raila Odinga insists that he is committed to the constitutional amendment process under the BBI bill. Odinga met ODM party top leadership in Nairobi a day after a section of party members raised mixed signals on the bill, which is yet to be tabled in Parliament. Joash Ansari with the details.
As the BBI fate remains uncertain, the ODM leadership led by party leader Raila Odinga met Wednesday, just a day after a section of party members expressed mixed signals on the constitutional amendment bill. The party reaffirmed its commitment to the process, with Raila expressing the need for Parliament to fast-track the process and release the document to the public to enable the people to have a final say on the envisaged changes to the constitution via a referendum. There has been a dilemma on the timelines of the BBI process following the adjournment of House sittings and the extension of the time for the Joint Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to table the report. ODM Deputy Party Leader Wycliffe Oparanya's statement raising concerns.
It's unfortunate that because of COVID has put us in this situation where we are. If COVID was not there, I think by now we would have had a referendum. Yeah. You see us here, we are even unable to go out there because, you go out, so many people come around you, and that's the danger of spreading COVID.
Raila insists on an agreement with President Kenyatta that the BBI process must be subjected to a referendum since it highlights on an extended executive and Kenyans must be given an opportunity to have a say on it. However, the ODM boss says he is still committed to the handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta with his allies, accusing ANC of fueling the division. ODM says it will remain committed to the spirit of the handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Joash Onsare, TV 47.
And we leave it at that in regards to the news stories. Let's get to the newspapers briefly, and then we get to the conversation. The gentlemen are here already. Secretary General for Third Way Alliance, that is Fred Okango, and Public Policy Analyst Mike Olio, the gentlemen that will be joining me this morning. Good to have you after quite a long while, Mike.
Thank you so much.
Finding time to be here very early. That's good. What changed? Or you are always an
I'm always an early bird.
Oh yeah?
I'm always an early riser.
Asante sana for your time.
Thank you
Fred,
so much.
once again, karibu sana. I saw you on Pundits Night and I was like, will Fred come? Or will he show up this Thursday? I said, these people of Pundits, I'll speak to them so that they do not do that again. And Fred will start telling me that, I think I prefer the night show as opposed to the morning show.
I'm an all-rounder.
Well, that's good. Karibu sana fu, and as always, thank you for your time. Briefly, we look at the papers. And I don't know what the standard is. I'm not able to get a hold of it online. What does it say?
Raila's first step in race for presidency.
He has paid the 1 million shilling that is supposed to be paid in the event that you have interest to go for the seat or be ODM's flag bearer. Well, evidently, he probably did not have a chance to play his cards until BBI sails through, and he had to pay for this. So evidently, he's going to take that last shot. Itakuwa bunduki ya mwisho, bullet ya mwisho?
Well, Odinga,
you want to tell us it's his democratic right as
really, that's true. That's true. And I think ODM, they will tell Kenyans what they're planning. And Raila at some point will speak. So we wait to see that.
Does it worry you being being a proponent of the BBI, while he speaks of and saying his interests right after the BBI, then evidently his interests have been showcased on this one. And so we wonder whether he's going to put the same oomph that he had in pushing for the constitutional amendment process.
I think right now what Kenyans are interested in are solutions, and those solutions, some of them will come from the amendment, some of them will come from the administrative that the president is already doing. So for now, as a proponent of constitutional amendment, I wouldn't speak much about 2022. It's not really a priority for Kenyans for now. But what is of importance is that Kenyans must understand that there are certain administrative actions that must be undertaken. First of all, to secure Kenyans from what is happening today, and then their constitutional reforms also must come with it to secure them in the long term. Currently, look at how the COVID-19 is ravaging this country. And the president has put some measures in place administratively. He's doing that together with the team and the other proponents that believe in working together. However, in matters 2022, we are likely to see strange bedfellows even coming together. I have seen people forming alliances, but I normally say if you are not forming alliance against somebody, there are people forming alliance against you. And the best alliance is yet to be formed. That alliance will constitute Kenyans.
We all wait to see what plays out in regards to that. Before we even come to the restrictions that the President put up, let's allow Mike to also ponder on that. Evidently also what has been captured on the front page of the Daily Nation is of this official move by Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And they say it is official. That is the interpretation of him proceeding to pay the 1 million fee for the same. So it is no longer a question of if Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga wishes to take a fifth stab at the presidency, but whether his two opponents will step aside to give him a free pass or take him on in the primaries and let the members decide. A story captured on page 7, and you know the individuals also who've registered their interest within the ODM party as to running for this top seat. What do you make of this move?
Thank you, Linda. For me, this is not news. That
we all expected this.
We all expected Honorable Raila to be in the race for presidency in 2022. Yeah. But probably the nation have a reason why they consider this as news. They are surprised by this, but I am not. One, he has a right to contest the presidency, and there is no upper limit on when you can stop being a presidential candidate. So it's okay with me. Now, as for the other two guys who also want the same ticket, I wish them well.
Do you genuinely think they stand a chance?
I do not think they stand any chance.
So what is the point of wishing them?
Because they ought to know better that when Honorable Raila is in the race,
it is as good as
settled.
Okay. Fred, I'd love to hear you say something on that. These are the two gentlemen that are bold enough to say they can take the nation to the next level, even at the level of ODM. Well, they're strong individuals, so to speak. But do you suppose they're dreaming too big?
I don't think so. I think they're within their dreams, and I think they'll stand an equal chance, just like any other person in any political party. Democracy requires that we participate in a fair process, and that's what is happening. And by the way, I think it is a good show because they are preparing for the future. So it is good to start your journey today.
Right.
And just like my colleague has said, I also wish them the best. You never know. Things change. In politics, a day is long enough. They might just clinch it, one of them. And if that happens, then it will be good for them. But I can tell you that even the people that some Kenyans think will be in the ballot might not be in the ballot. Because coalition building requires that you sacrifice ambitions, you consult, and you build coalitions that you are sure of winning. Most of the coalitions I've seen, some have called them Cerelac, some have called them Sacred, some have called them MP4, some have whatever they are. If you look at them, there's one thing that they are lacking. Any coalition in this country that will not involve Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and William Ruto, that coalition will be dead like a dog.
Okay, so they hugely are going to determine the matrix that the politics will take.
That's the truth of the matter. In Kenya, we are regionally mobilized. That's the most unfortunate thing about it. And there are only 3 leaders in this country that today can actually craft a coalition that can win an election. The others have always worked under them. So it will be the first time they're trying to work outside the 3. And if they try that, their first qualification is to lose first. Then the next qualification to try again. Maybe the third one now they can win.
Probably
but for now it will be impossible.
Okay. Well, somehow you just told me that even these two individuals, Wycliffe Oparanya and Joho, that is Hassan Ali Joho, really do not stand a chance. You just told me that indirectly, and that's okay.
They're escorting the winners.
It is unfortunate that they had to lose their million shillings because, well, anyway, it's too early to call this, so we can only wish them the best, as you say.
But I think they can afford it.
Fred? You think they can afford?
They can afford to lose 1 million shillings each.
Okay, well, because evidently that's
they have that kind of money. But again, politics is about positioning.
Yes.
I think they are positioning themselves for
aim at the sun, and you reach the moon, and then
because you see they are serving their last terms as governor, and it is important to make a statement that we are also here, and we don't forget that we are also still ambitious. So the party should be thinking about us. You can even see King is doing things down at the coast, more or less along the same lines. It's because they are serving their last terms. They cannot contest for the governorship again a third time. The constitution refuses that. So for me, I think they are positioning themselves, which is very healthy in politics.
Well, individuals that, in my own opinion, would probably be considered as individuals that already had a position. I mean, Oparanya has been there, and we've seen Joho equally has been there. So probably they were well positioned in it from the word go, but all the same, you always have to actively be involved. And speaking of which, this coastal region outfit that they speak of, that the Constitutional does not agree to, I mean, is gaining momentum. You go on social media, sometimes this is also our new form of, of communicating and all that. You find the likes of Intumbi who have been listened to. I mean, sometimes they speak of things and they tend to play out. He says, you know what, let's wait and see that this is going to be announced over the weekend, an outfit of the coast. Just how possible is this, Fred, knowing very well that the Constitution discourages the same? And in the event that they speak of, a united front that is the level of the coast, what would it mean? What would it mean for individuals like Joho who have also declared their interests?
Regional formations is not encouraged. In fact, the court prohibits, the Constitution prohibits parties that are formed on regional basis. Yeah. But I think because Kenya, we are regionally mobilized, the strength of a candidate is measured first from the region he or she comes from. Okay. Number two, the coalition builders will be looking at the numbers, because it is numbers that transform and translate into winning an election. So when you look at numbers by, delivered by every coalition partner, then that's what informs. People have argued that, let me just digress a bit. People have argued that a coalition between William Ruto and Raila Odinga would win by mid-morning. But my argument has been very different. While that is a possibility, it's also an impossibility, because if you look at the registered numbers, as per 2017 elections, the 2.3 in the two regions is 4.6. To win an election in this country, you need all Kenyans. It means you need at least over 10 million voters.
That's 5.1.
Yes. Yeah. So it will be difficult for such a coalition to win if we go tribal. Okay. But unfortunately, or fortunately enough, majority of the supporters of these two individuals come from all over Kenya, and you cannot isolate other regions and believe that you are going to win an election. So I think bringing individuals together from one region, or from different regions, is good, but also trying to ensure that the people you bring add value to your coalition is more important. If you see, most of the governors are serving their second term. They have got nowhere to go. With BBI, maybe they would want to run and they want to go and run as members of parliament, so that they have a chance of getting appointed as cabinet ministers, or they would want to stay in the position, run as regional kingpins to influence the politics of the day and become something else in the new structure. So for me, I think the incorporation of people like Joho, Amason Kingis, Mvurya, Kabogo, and the rest, that is a show of unity. And it will be very difficult to defeat such a coalition if it is put in place, because those are the strongmen that will be campaigning for such a coalition, and that would easily form a government. There is only one challenge. The challenge is, what is in it for all these gentlemen, the 12 of them, if they come together? Right. Remember, the slots available are not 12, they are less than 12. Yeah. However, it will force some of them to go and run as member of parliament with a surety of being appointed at cabinet minister, or they campaign for the cause and then get appointed outside cabinet. Because if the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 is enacted, then there are two ways of going about it. You can either be from a cabinet within parliament or from outside parliament. Yes.
All right.
I want to say something about the regional party.
Yes.
Or the envisaged regional party for the coast people. I think this is a clear attempt by Amason Kingi. Kingi understands the nature of Kenyan politics. Yeah. First of all, he must seek relevance. And two, he must position himself for the future. Three, how does he get invited to the bargaining table? It is easier to be invited to the bargaining table when you have a group behind you. So when people negotiate with you, you can claim that now I have this region behind me. That is what politicians listen to in this country. You don't walk in alone to the negotiating table and you say, I'm alone here and please consider me. It doesn't work like that. So King himself knows that the only way he can negotiate effectively towards 2022 and beyond is when he has a mass behind him. And what better way to do so than to have a party? In fact, from what I know is that it is not just one party that he wants. He has brought together several parties from the coast, and he wants to amalgamate them into one unit, a big, powerful unit that can help him to bargain going forward.
If it's about him, then what happens to the people of the coast of this particular region? Because, well, we've seen members of parliament, we've seen leaders, members of county assemblies down there, senators, you know, buying so much so into this idea. Let
me just refresh your memory. When the president met Kingi and Joho and Mvurya in State House, did you notice that Samboja was not there and Dado of Tana River was not there? Why? Because the three guys he met are serving their last terms. They have reason to be worried. And they have reason to really seek alternatives on how to move forward and how to make their ambitions fruitful. So as matters stand now, you will see that even Mvurya and Joho and Kingi, even though they may not belong to the same party, it is only Joho and Kingi who belong to the same party, right? Mvurya is elsewhere, but their interest is the same. They are facing political oblivion in 2022 unless they position themselves properly now and then join the bargaining table as one solid unit from the Coast Province.
Well, just how instrumental is President Uhuru Kenyatta in all this, Fred? I know you've mentioned the three gentlemen, but even out of the three gentlemen, you've talked of a possible coalition that lies between Right Honorable Raila Odinga and Ruto, and you evidently have said that in as much as they are a strong force, they could have some challenges in terms of hitting the threshold that is expected. And therefore, then, it means it is President Uhuru Kenyatta who's equally and almost 100 or 99% instrumental across any coalition that would be formed. What happens to all these coalitions that are likely to crop up, and how do they get to equally have their take and their share on the Mount Kenya region in getting them? Because we understand very well that they do enjoy the numbers.
Linda, President Kenyatta is very instrumental in this because as you understand, up to now, President Kenyatta is the Mount Kenya kingpin. And he commands a lot of respect for Mount Kenya, going by the recent development on the BBI endorsement. When people thought that Mount Kenya would not endorse a bill that is going to benefit them just like any other Kenyans, they went and the president told them, listen, this is a document that will benefit all Kenyans. You are part of Kenya. They endorsed it. So to that extent, that level of influence will play a major role to anyone who wants to be president in this country, because Mount Kenya as a bloc will listen to their leaders when they're going to vote. So any coalition that would want to win the presidency without the votes for Mount Kenya would be lying to themselves. And to that extent, the president and the other leaders from Mount Kenya would play a critical role. What is their interest as a region? What is their interest as a community? And what is the interest as a Kenyan? Remember, President Kenyatta is leaving. And when he's leaving, he wouldn't want to see a situation where the country is not united and cohesive. He would also want to see a new team, administrative team that is coming on board that can secure the lives of not only Mount Kenya region, but also other Kenyans. So he will be very keen to do that.
All right, so we still have more on the papers, about 2-3 stories that we'll be looking at, but that should be after this break, and then we get to the discussion.
As the country gears up. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates.
The position of the Prime Minister will go to a party with the most elected members. I clearly know
that neither Raila nor Ruto are in the work plan on the roadmap for transition as far as the government is concerned.
Informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs, and music bands.
Back to the seasons of my youth.
Every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Did you know that your business keeps our economy running?
You need the skill, not the papers.
Always tell yourselves, one day at a time. You can't do everything under one roof.
Over time, I've had to realize that good things take time.
The Grind, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Before the markets open, farmers begin their day, each with the desire to produce the best. But how can they increase the numbers, maintain the standards,
Aitoi ile garlic inafaa itoi, that standard garlic.
reduce the cost,
We spread our risk.
and yet remain the best? Kilimo Diaries, every Sunday when the clock hits 7:30 p.m. Owning a home is a keystone to wealth. And building one can be quite daunting. Well, the realtor gives you the do's and don'ts.
There are so many brokers in the market. We just want to tell you I can be able to supply.
And groundbreaking.
So we clear the area and we set out the place where the house is going to be laid down.
We talk homes, land, and property.
With me, Currency Daniel.
Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Next episode of Coffee with the Movie.
But today I'm with Bamboo, the African band too.
Funny how the enemy uses ladies a lot.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, but his statue, it looked like the angel of death or something like that, with a black robe and a skeleton and it's holding a pole.
Yeah.
With it's a sickle. It's
Catch this story every Sunday at 8 p.m. As the country gears
Ultimate power.
Welcome back. Let's get to more on the papers and to the discussion of the day that equally, is one of the key things that has been probably touched on the paper. Still with me, Secretary General Third Way Alliance, Fred Okango, and public policy analyst Mike Oliewo. And gentlemen, Mike, let me come to you briefly. Just look at the other stories that have been captured, because I know we'll talk of politics more and more. COVID-19, the restrictions. Yesterday we saw Kenyans, going out to the streets, peaceful demonstrations, calling upon President Uhuru Kenyatta to review his hard stance. I mean, they are considering it hard because then you can see how it has hit so hard on people in terms of jobs and all that. The better part of last year, we actually have not met. I've not met you all this time through COVID-19. How has it been like? And do you suppose that these measures are a bit too radical for the Kenyans?
Okay, we've not met since last year because I followed the
protocols. So you want to tell me and Fred that we did not do that?
So I was
doing that virtually. What is wrong?
So I was working from home. Anyway,
okay.
Now let me talk about the latest restrictions by the president. For me, I find them unfortunate because one, they're even contradictory in terms. The churches are closed, the bars are closed, but Marikiti is open, supermarkets are open, matatus are open, and there's no social distancing in there. And people are asking themselves, the churches have really tried to implement the government protocols for COVID-19 in terms of social distancing. Nowadays, when you go to churches, you can see there's a very big difference in the way people sit, and the church leaders have really done a good job. So people have a right to complain that actually churches were not supposed to be closed this time around. All that was meant to be done was to insist that churches continue enforcing the COVID-19 regulations. So the churches have a problem with that. Now, yesterday I saw the entertainers were also on the streets.
Yeah.
Look at it this way. For the whole of 2020, people's incomes were demolished because of COVID-19. And now we are getting into the same, when we were just trying to recover, now we've been plunged into the same pit again. It's very hard for people to survive out there.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. And people are really struggling out there economically. It's not easy. And people have a right to complain because people elected a government, and a government should listen to the people. A government that does not listen to the people should not be in power at all. If I were in charge of this government, or if I were part of this government, I would listen to the people.
But equally, the government is alive to the fact that it's their sole responsibility to preserve, protect life. And,
correct.
And as the president would say, this is how he tries to do that.
The argument here is that we had protocols which were in place last year, which worked very well for us.
Yeah.
We could as well enforce them this time around without closing churches, for instance, without blocking people from traveling. Because people have livelihoods and people have health. People worked very well to enforce the protocols as was recommended by the government last year.
But people can as well serve while, at home, remotely and all that. And it worked very well, the virtual sessions.
I was talking to somebody yesterday who buys goods from Nairobi and sells the goods in Bita in Homa Bay.
Okay.
Physically. Now she cannot trade anymore because of the fact that you cannot travel outside Nairobi and go to Homa Bay. So her business is just destroyed just like that. I think it would have been better if the government did not lock down this zone.
Okay.
But if the government could insist that people observe the protocols as prescribed, it would have been much better, in my opinion.
All right, let's couple all these talks of COVID-19. Well, the Sputnik vaccine, let's talk about the vaccines that are now getting into that point where they're running out in the country. Let's talk about the demise of Kiambaa Member of Parliament Paul Koinange, and also the fact that we had people, in the streets and calling upon President Uhuru Kenyatta, to just reconsider the tough stance. And, one would want to ask, what other option does the president have anyway?
Linda, it's a delicate balance for the president and even for the people of Kenya. Number one, look at the effects of COVID-19 economically and health-wise. We have lost lives. Today, you and I can actually point at people they knew or they have seen before or they have heard about to be casualties of this pandemic. And that is very unfortunate. Number two, families are going without food. Businesses are closing down. People are applying for insolvency. Businesses are shutting down because of this COVID. And the president, in his last announcement, put across some measures. And he told Kenyans that some of those have been factored in after considering the science behind them, and the experts advised the country. But I want to say that this country has done better than most of the countries, not only in the region but in the world. Because we have seen countries, some of them are our neighbors, that have suffered from this because they didn't take keen interest in early containment measures as we did. And today, the reason why Kenyans are still standing strong is because Kenyans have been resilient and they have managed to obey the protocols of World Health Organization and MOH and the government. So that has kept us to that extent. Now, the issue of the closed business outlets. In Nairobi alone, 6,500 outlets or food joints have been closed. In Kajiado, 1,500. In Kiambu, 2,700. In Machakos, 2,500. All these establishments have got people who work and earn a daily wage to support their families. As it is today, the owners of those establishments must tell them to go home and wait. But what is more important? Do you want to lose your employee because of COVID and tomorrow you don't have anyone to work for you? Or you want to secure their lives, tell them to wait a bit and contain them, have a containment measures, but then invite them back? I think the latter is more important. The latter is more important. So for me, it is a delicate balance. We are all suffering. Institutions are suffering. I'm sure even your institution today, in terms of revenue-wise, they could be getting a hit. The media is getting a hit. Everyone. But the most important thing that we must now start looking at is how do we ensure that we protect life first? And the president said, when it comes to protecting life, he will give protecting life a priority over the economy. Economy can be built, but you cannot bring back life. This disease, the strain, we have been told by scientists and experts that is more deadlier than the second wave. And today, we can confess that we have seen, and we have heard, and we have read, and we have witnessed people die because of this, particularly on the strain that is now affecting us. Thank God we have a vaccine. But even this vaccine, we are told, even if you get vaccinated now and you walk out of this room, you can still get the disease. So what is happening is that we must be able to follow the protocol to the letter. Mask up, wash your hands, sanitize, keep distance, so that we are secure. But on the issue of businesses shutting down, I think it is not going to be permanent. And I think the president is also watching and listening. And in the coming days, once the government puts up vaccination measures so that as many as possible, because remember the government started by frontline workers. Then they moved beyond frontline workers. Now the most vulnerable, the elderly, people with pre-existing conditions. I think now in the next batch, the government now should now move again and move to everyone. Then let's have a door-to-door vaccination. Let's have all families vaccinated, those who are qualifying for the vaccination, so that we have over 50 million Kenyans vaccinated, and then we build immunity. Then now you can open your business. Then now you can go out and do whatever you want, because at that time now you shall have built immunity. But we are saying this disease, Linda, if I see it, it is going to remain here for quite some time, and we must adjust. That adjustment does not only require the support of government, but requires our support as Kenyans also to ensure that we conform with the regulations and also offer solution, not just complain, because a lot of us Kenyans, we complain a lot, but we don't offer solution. The solution here is help government help you by, number one, ensuring that you don't expose yourself to situations that will make you contract this disease. Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, and even as you come in, I know you want to weigh in some more on that. We speak of the vaccines across. We've seen people who are even eligible not getting access to it. As always, the crafty games will be played in the country, and some individuals will consider their families, their friends, and all that who probably are not at a high risk. And truth be told, Mike, while we could be complaining, such is happening across other parts. I mean, South Africa equally went to another lockdown. I mean, why is it then that it would sound different and special for us?
No, in Kenya, the situation was unique. How did we end up where we ended up? The answer was very simple. There was laxity in enforcement of protocols here. And if that was the case, as we know it, there was laxity in enforcement of protocols, then that is what we ought to have now tightened. Enforcement of the COVID-19 protocols.
Yeah.
Social distancing, masking. I don't know why the government just decided to let people now walk around and do whatever they wanted to do. That is what ought to have been addressed. Enforcement of the COVID protocols, but not closing down people's businesses. Because you see, suffering is very personal. We may talk about reduced revenues for TV 47, but that is very general. But suffering is very personal. When a member of staff is told to go home because now it is no longer sustainable to have him or her at work, it is a very personal experience for that person and the family. So let's deal with these issues because they touch the lives of human beings. And they touch the livelihoods of human beings. And people are suffering. In my opinion, it is important for... And then, let's not forget, the politicians went out and started holding rallies. And they became super spreaders. Those are the guys who ought to have been now forced to stop the activities, like now it has been done. But otherwise, all these other protocols, once properly enforced, I think we are okay. We did very well last year with those protocols in place. We can do so again this year.
All right. Well, we all wait to see how best we can handle this. Member of Parliament Paul Koinange lost his life to, complications of COVID-19. Evidently, that is also just a way of confirming. In fact, this happened at a time when we were just discussing matters COVID-19 and how Kenyans feel like, the president has been a little bit too radical. And I think it served as a reminder that indeed we need to be extra careful on that. So, gentlemen, let's pick this particular story and let it also be the guiding factor to the conversation of the day. President Raila phone call or phone chat that calmed the BBI fears, and that morning conversation between Right Honorable Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta was probably a confirmation. And yes, maybe a majority of you might not know that there was a phone call, but in sometimes, with the media industry, there's always that extra intelligence. And I mean, it's also in the public domain that the two gentlemen have not come out to say that there's a problem that lies between them, or there's a problem with the handshake, or there's a problem with, the pushing of the BBI. They have remained constantly adamant that indeed they're here and, they are here to oversee this project a success, a project that came out as a result of the handshake. What would you make of this, and looking at the talks that have been round, in regards to, the commitment of the president to this particular mission, as of course allies to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga have at one point questioned just how committed the president is?
There are only two principles in the constitutional amendment process, the BI. Right Honorable Raila Odinga and Honorable President Uhuru Kenyatta. Until they speak, anyone who speaks and purporting to know anything about that will be lying to Kenyans.
Fred, let's not forget about let's not forget history or how we've been treated to. In most cases, we see a scenario where foot soldiers of these individuals speak, and such plays out.
I'm going there.
Yes.
Number two, political leaders have a way of speaking.
Yes.
When also they want to test waters, they send their lieutenants to go and test. But it doesn't mean that they are not committed to the cause. It means that they're just testing if we're still together. Again, I'll say, I have seen a lot of democracy around the speaking space in political parties. And I've seen in ODM, as a party, I think they have got a wider democratic space because I saw my good friend Edwin Sifuna say what he said. I saw Deputy Party Leader Paranya say what he said. I saw John Mbadi in Parliament say what he said. I saw Senior Council Senator Orengo say what he says. And then last evening, voila, Raila Odinga, man of the moment, sent a statement and everyone went mute.
Right.
And Raila Odinga is the principal. We are also told, I'm sure now because the media keeps saying unconfirmed reports. So maybe this one you can say whether it's confirmed or not.
Okay.
You can tell Kenyans. Last evening, the two gentlemen could have met. Whether the president was going to just say hi to him and wish him well because Right Honorable has been recovering well from COVID and now he's testing negative and is ready to continue with his national duties. We'll be told about that. But that tells you that the journey to secure the lives of 50 million Kenyans through a constitutional amendment has not stopped. Actually, it never stopped. But because we have got impatient politicians, we have got politicians with interest, we have got people who want to use the process of changing the lives of Kenyans through constitutional amendment as a vehicle to 2022. They become impatient and they start saying whatever they're saying. This vehicle,
if we're talking about having a referendum in June, July?
Whenever it is ready.
Okay, I mean, you know very well that we've been talking about
Linda, let me tell
timelines. Don't you think you'd equally get impatient?
The timeline started when the IBC submitted the bill to the county assembly. They were supposed to do that within 90 days. They did. Then the bill was introduced without delay in the National Assembly and Senate.
Still there.
It is there. There are no constitutional timelines within which they should debate that bill. It is not there. But you know what? We know that once they pass it, and maybe if the president has signed to it, then within 90 days, the president shall order for a referendum. Order IBC to conduct a referendum within 90 days. If the aspects in that bill relate to Article 255, we know that. We cannot also rule out that delaying this process is like denying Kenyans opportunity to have money in their pocket. It's denying the women of Kenya an opportunity to have a suitability to be elected in positions of elective and appointive. Delaying it will be denying the people of Kenya the opportunity to use the word as a development unit. Delaying it will deny the people of Kenya the opportunity to strengthen devolution, the opportunity to fight corruption expeditiously. So the president and Right Honorable Raila Odinga know that it cannot be delayed. The members of parliament who have got a legislative role in ensuring that they facilitate public participation, which they have done perfectly, and ensure that they debate the bill and pass it on its merit, know that. So what we are waiting for is the debate, the report from the JLAC, so that it can
which was supposed to be presented today.
That report,
the 1st of April.
I think that's April Fool's Day.
Fred.
That report, the moment it is tabled and debated, whether it is approved or not, Linda, the final decision makers in this bill are the people of Kenya. Why? Because there are like over 10 aspects of this bill that will require the people of Kenya to make a decision. That is stipulated and contemplated in the Constitution of Kenya, Article 255. So what we are saying is, I don't see a situation where the president and Raila Odinga can take this bold step, proceed for over 2 years, and then they abandon the vehicle. It's like you start a car, put the passengers in, the passengers sit first in the seat belt, then you tell them you're going to Nyeri. You start the car, then you get to, what do you call it? You get to this place here, Githurai. Then you start telling them, by the way, I think it is raining in Nyeri, we cannot proceed, while there are no indicators of rain. So what we are saying, as people of Kenya, this process must see its conclusion. And it must see its conclusion because we know that the two principles value this country. We know they have the interest of this country, and that's why they brought Kenyans onto it. Were it not for that, they would have done their own things. Today, the problem that we have with this process, Linda, is the problem of succession. Politicians want to bring the games of succession in it so that they can benefit from it. They can take advantage of the process.
Can we genuinely say that this is not a game of succession politics? Fred, before we bring in Mike, whom I'm sure is burning.
Politics is about interest. The people's interest and your personal interest that must balance. There's nothing wrong with securing the lives of Kenyans. But there, Linda, once this constitutional amendment bill passes, Kenyans also must be careful with who implements it, because you cannot trust the bill. You cannot trust your sheep with an hyena. You must trust the sheep with a shepherd. So who is the shepherd that will secure this bill? And also, we can also see, If the shepherd was not involved in the process, then how do you hand over to a shepherd who is an hyena in skin?
I have not known you to be playing these games, friend, but all the same, it is evidently coming. You are now becoming the typical politician.
I am one.
All right. Okay, Mike, before you even get to weigh in on that, you stand on the BBI.
Fine. Fred has always been a politician.
I'm telling you, he's becoming better and better by the day. Trust my word.
I know him. Now, for me, I want to say three things about the BBI. One, when the alligator comes out of the water and tells you that the crocodile is sick, do you have any reason to doubt him?
No.
Because the alligator lives with the crocodile in the water, and he comes out and tells you the crocodile is sick. As far as matters stand now, the alligator came out of the water and told us that the crocodile was sick. I watched Honorable Orengo and Honorable Otiende Amulo in Rarieda when they talked about the BBI. And they talked about the hurdles that have been placed in their way by certain unnamed civil servants and all those things. That is very important when you look at the BBI. Now let's talk about the handshake. The handshake itself, which created the BBI, is a marriage. And like every other marriage, it has interests. Marital partners have interests. You get into a marriage because you believe that your interests will be secured one way or the other. And that leads us to the third point. Why do we have noises? The media would not be writing about things that don't exist. For the media to reach the point where now they are publishing that there are issues, there are murmurs and there are grumbles inside the handshake, there must be some truth in it, because where there's smoke, there must be some fire. And that now leads us to the current standoff in Parliament, where ODM now wants the BBI report to be debated again, to be open for debate. At least you've watched Honorable Orengo say so.
Yes.
It's instructive. Why? Because it means people are looking for reassurances. People are looking to renegotiate so that people can be assured that where we started is where we are, and exactly what we agreed upon is where we are heading. We don't know what they agreed on, but at least we know that from what is going on now, the artificial delays which are created even in Parliament are meant to seek assurances as people move forward. So that's my take on the BBI as matters stand now.
All right, hold it right there. I'll come back to you in a few. Fred, make this brief. What he speaks about is very important, and also what you spoke about, the fact that, in most cases you always want to get that assurance. But equally, you realize that these politicians are also, into, these processes fully, but with backup plans. And I mean, such is what should play out every time, when you have someone who has plans of a better future. You have seen the DP himself speak of a scenario where he says, you know what, UDA is my fallback plan. In the event that this does not work, at least I have this. And so it is almost evident that it looks like ODM has crafted its own fallback plan, just in case that this process does not sail through as expected. I would want to believe President Uhuru Kenyatta equally has so. So can we trust these individuals to spearhead this to the very last point?
I think the most important thing is that the process started. The process has reached a crucial stage that Kenyans are waiting to see what next, and they are eager to go and make their decision, the final decision in the referendum. You cannot deny them that.
Don't you think this is such a vulnerable state for the process?
It is a vulnerable state because of politicians who are speaking on what they don't know. If I had such sentiments from President Kenyatta, I would be worried. If I had that statement from Honorable Raila Odinga, I would be worried. But here are the gentlemen who are driving the process, the two principals. They have not spoken about anything like that. And therefore, anyone who speaks about anything or against, their words and their sentiments are null ab initio. So what I think is important is Kenyans must have hope. The same way you have hope that tomorrow will be a better day, even though it is hard today, you must have hope that tomorrow our leaders that you yourself you put in place will secure your lives. That's why you put them in office. And if they don't do that, you remove them, put others. So what we are waiting for, and I can tell you, Linda, the fact here is the constitution amendment that people have been talking about. The reason why a majority of Kenyans are now starting to think otherwise is because of the same politicians who now change their tone. And he has mentioned that something that I also had senior Councillor Orengo say in Parliament, but I think those are negotiation techniques, and he knows it very well.
Yeah.
I can assure you, from today going onwards, after Raila Odinga's statement, you will see a different
change of tone. Okay.
You'll see a different Sifuna, because these gentlemen, they also know the game.
Okay.
They know when to push you, they know when to relax, they know when to be moderate. They will do that. But I can see the need that the president would want to have this process completed. Raila Odinga himself would want to have this process completed, because this process has promised Kenyans something that has never been promised before. Today, we are going to have a situation where in the village, in the ward, now you can start measuring development from the bottom going upwards by securing the socio-economic rights. In the village, now you can start seeing development beyond county headquarters. In the village, now you can start seeing representation, you can start seeing national projects as budget for the national budget through CDF that is constitutional. And now you see the lives changing. That is something that all Kenyans would want to see. I don't think Raila Odinga and President Kenyatta would want to be an obstacle. They don't want to be an obstacle. Instead, the politicians who think that by joining hands to form a funny coalition so that they can succeed President Kenyatta, those are the people that are the enemies of this country. We must tell them that you must work together for the people of Kenya, not for your own interest. What we want to see all leaders, all political parties work together in this, not in election, in this, so that we secure the lives of Kenyans. Let me tell you, I have also seen people out there who are purporting to be trying to revive something, I don't know what. They are not going to succeed. Because Kenyans have made a decision. And the decision is, while we know that we are going into an election 2022, we also know that our sufferings must be settled now. Our suffering now include COVID. Our suffering now include the baggage that we have with the 2010 Constitution. You can only amend to ensure that you ease the burden that we'll be talking about as Punguza Mzigo. That burden is political, is social, is economical. All the issues that are enumerated. In fact, as a political party, Third Way Alliance Kenya, I keep saying the 15 issues that we were pushing for, 11 of them that were lowering the burden from the taxpayer are in this bill. We must see it through so that we remove that heavy yoke from the shoulders of the people of Kenya.
And I'd love to know whether Mike feels like, any burden will be, relieved from the shoulders of Kenyans, because he's a public policy analyst. The Constitution is the key driver to making sure that some of these policies that are set are cemented, for that matter. Why I asked you your position on the BBI is that I did not want you to tell us what it is that you think is happening right now in regards to the same, but I really wanted to know your view as to whether you are for the document or not. I know there are very many people who say, I'm not for the document, but all the same, well, the deep state has spoken and so it has to sail through. I do not know whether you feel like, the bill as it stands, holds water, has something that is indeed worth for the benefit of the people of Kenya.
Linda, I'm not the type of fellow who would agree with the document because the deep state has said so.
Okay, well,
I would only agree with the document because
you've gone through it.
Yeah, because it makes sense to me. So as far as I'm concerned now, the document is okay, and I agree with it, and I have been one of its earliest supporters. Actually, when this initiative started, I wrote articles in the papers which were published asking Kenyans to engage with that process from the word go. To engage with the task force, give their views, give all their input, so that at the end of the day we could come up with a document that reflected the aspirations of the people. So I have been on the side of the BBI from the word go, because I know that society is dynamic. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 could have been wonderful, but something wonderful can always become better. People's lives change, and something that changes needs needs to be taken care of properly. So I have always been on the side of BBI. I think it's a good document. However, we had too much expectations as Kenyans. It's like all of us wanted our aspirations to be captured in one document, which is not possible. So some of our aspirations were captured, some were not. Okay. For those of us whose aspirations were not captured in the document, there is always another time. Yeah, you know, constitution making is an ongoing process. It's a continuous process. It never comes to an end. But for the time being, what we have now is okay. We can start with this, and then if we feel that there is something that needs to be added later on, that can always be done in the course of time. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a good document.
All right, the biggest fear as it now, and we'll not delve much into, you know, the arguments that Third Way Alliance had equally presented a court battle against the BBI, because we evidently know your position as it now. But then there are numerous other cases.
There's no question about that.
There's no question about that.
As a party, the petition number E400 is out. It was withdrawn. That is the position of the party.
And you think that will stand? The position in courts also?
You know, there are also other interested, there are also other petitioners in that petition, E400, who are also trying to do funny games with it. And we wish them well. But as a party, we are out. The reason why we are out, we must now secure the lives of Kenyans. That is not a priority. In fact, we'd rather go and do charity in offering vaccines to the people of Kenya than spending our time in a process that will not add value to us. What will add value to us is securing the lives of Kenyans. No amount of litigation of whatever nature, but we know when people have got their rights to go to court and do whatever they want to do, as a party and as NEC, and I'm speaking to you as the Secretary General of the party, what we know and what we have made a decision about as a party, that we are not going to get involved in the matters that are in court. We shall proceed, prepare our house, and prepare our president, and prepare our people for election while the process of constitutional amendment is going on at the side.
Well, an individual will be in court in the face of Third Way Alliance.
Those are imposers.
And so what happens? I mean, that needs to be dealt with, Fred.
Yeah, we will do that at the right time within the party ranks. And
but still, there are very many other cases that we're speaking about, scenarios, about 7 or thereabout, that bedevil the BBI, and also this process that has been halted.
Linda,
or has been thrown into disarray.
Those cases were consolidated. And I don't want to speak about them because they're in court already.
Yes.
We are waiting for the 5th judgment to give a ruling. So there's no worry.
Are you positive, or are you hopeful that it's going to be a fair judgment? And
judgments are based on facts. So the facts that were presented by both parties will prevail.
All right.
So we wish all the parties the best. But what we know is that Kenyans, you cannot stop the will of Kenyans. They have made a decision.
And so there is this conversation of the BBI, and we're not going to stop it in any way. Reggae is not going to be stopped by anything, not COVID-19, even when the same proponents are speaking of a scenario where they say, you know, these monies have not been used. We have not put anything on BBI. How about we shift these monies to fixing the problem of COVID-19?
Have you seen money for BBI?
Well, that's now the problem.
What Governor Oparanya was saying, I don't know what he was saying, because as a Kenyan, me, I have not seen that money for BBI. I have not seen rallies happening. I have not seen...
he says nothing really so far has been used to the BBI.
What I know is that process was just about to start. Civic education, telling Kenyans, you know, this is what it is. That process has been suspended because of the measures to contain COVID. It will resume once we are sure and science tells us that we are below 5% positivity rate. That will come. But as far as I'm concerned, we have not reached there yet. In fact, Parliament have not even tabled the report. The moment they do that, we shall now know where we're proceeding to. If Parliament rejects the bill, then the bill will go direct to the people. If they pass it, it will go for presidential assent. And the president will be advised, within this bill, there are aspects that relate to, there are matters that relate to Article 255. And therefore, this bill must go to the people. They will order IBC to conduct referendum within 90 days. It will come. Referendum is just one day. I know Kenyans are worried that the issues that are happening now must be addressed now. And I can assure Kenyans, from where I sit, I've seen them being addressed. So let us not mix issues. Let what happened in Parliament happen. But the President and the government must also secure the lives of Kenya now, as they are doing. We congratulate them for how far they have gone, but we ask them to do more. Mr. President, do more. Okay. But even as you do more, the other processes must continue. I mean, we must now be a country that is investing in long term. We can secure the lives of Kenyans and protect them from this COVID, as we have done and we are going to do, and we wish that happened immediately. But how do we secure the lives of women who are not able to occupy positions of leadership because our constitution as it is today do not guarantee them? Okay. How do we ensure that we secure the lives of Kenyans who are underrepresented because the constitution of Kenya today does not guarantee them? How do we ensure that we stop theft of public money that is now rampant and killing this economy more than even HIV, AIDS, and COVID combined? If we don't amend this constitution to expedite on the issues of economic crime, we must be careful not to be short-sighted. We must be long-sighted. In fact, they normally say we be like Pharisees. You know, Pharisees, they used to see far. So you be a Pharisee. Okay. That is what Kenyans would want to be.
All right. Well, you are positive that acknowledging the fact that this is a political process, but equally a legal process. And, you know, when it comes to the aspect of it being a legal process, there are timelines that sit within, again, the Constitution that seeks to be amended. And therefore, as we play this game the way it is being played, they're going to be able to beat the timelines?
First, Fred has said Pharisees used to be foresighted.
Yeah, they see beyond the canopy.
They see beyond, yes?
I like that. Now, the timelines for actualization of, it is called the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. Depends on a few variables. Variable number one is that right now, COVID has ravaged the country, and there are measures which have been recommended by the president, which has suspended even political gatherings. I don't know if the president will lift those sanctions soon or not. Because if matters do not improve soon, then we may have this kind of state for a while. And that may now be a factor in the realization of
the BBI process.
Of the BBI
We have
process.
seen America going for an election in such a state. We have seen Tanzania going for an election
even
in
Ghana
such a state.
did so.
Ghana did so.
Yeah.
And many other countries have.
Yeah, but you know, decisions are made individually. Yeah. Every country makes individual decisions. Okay. I really don't know how that will happen. But if the president says that the country is not ready to go to proceed with a political process because of COVID, it will be a game changer in itself. Okay. So we hope and pray that the situation improves. If the COVID situation improves and everything is in order, then I think the process will kick off again. Parliament is also in recess. I'm sure you know about that. And Parliament will be resuming in May. I think it is May 4th. Now, that also is a factor in this process. How fast Parliament will move when it resumes. It will go through the report that from the committees. I don't know how long Parliament will take to consider the report and what they will do with that report. So that is also a variable. So you cannot speak with certainty now about the timelines which were set before even COVID happened. COVID came and changed very many things. It rewrote our rules of engagement. So for now, we can just hope and pray that the situation improves so that at least we have a degree of predictability and certainty on the realization of this bill. Okay,
well, beauty of it is that they say it is only the president and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga that will decide whether we go for a referendum or not. And so in that case...
I don't think that's true.
That's what they say.
No.
That's what they say, okay.
The moment, this country is a country that is governed by the rule of law.
Yeah.
And it's the rule of law that has moved us from the general propositions that Kenyans put in place to the bill, to the county assembly, to the national assembly and Senate now. It is the same rule of law that will now dictate how we move forward. Okay. By the way, when Parliament adjourned for 1.5 months, they did say that there are certain matters that they'll be canvassing virtually. they will do that.
Okay.
So that will happen. When the time comes to debate the bill, it will happen. And once it is debated, whether approved or rejected, the only process that will be remaining is the referendum. In fact, you cannot even stop a referendum at that level because the Constitution says that once that happens, it must happen. So it is not about Raila Odinga. It's not about Uhuru Kenyatta. They're just the pilots of this ship.
Okay.
It will proceed. You know, sometimes also the flight, once it takes off, it takes off at a speed that you cannot control it. And then it goes, now it stabilizes midair. That's where we are. This one has stabilized. It is there. It is now looking for landing. It will now go down landing. When it lands, it will land with Kenyans safely. That's what we are saying.
Right.
In fact, Linda, another thing that we need to know is if Kenyans think that the economic situation is so bad, the COVID-19 is so dire that we have to address it, then we should not go for a referendum. Kenyans don't have a problem. They can decide that. But they should also remember that we cannot contain COVID-19 squarely in 1 year, in 6 months. It will proceed. Then we have to also think,
life has to
are we going
to
do an election? And that follows in the provisions of Article 102, how to extend term of parliament.
Yes.
So what do? You look at it. Are we at war? The interpretation will be, is COVID-19 a biological war? If that is agreed and the courts interpret it that way, then we might also as well say, then let's also extend the term of parliament to ensure that we recover the economy, we recover from COVID-19. But is it possible? The answer lies with the court. I cannot say that.
Okay.
But what I know politically, some of these activities that are happening now will be a major factor to consider if we are going for a referendum or for an election. You cannot separate the referendum from election. While the Constitution says that the general election shall be held on the second Tuesday of every 5th year, there is nowhere that the Constitution says that referendum should be held on this date.
Okay.
So referendum can take a backstage. But if the same reason that Kenyans would want to be used to stop a referendum are not used to stop a general election, then we'll be hypocrites.
All right. Well, that's an interesting one. A delicate balance for Kenyans for sure. And it's 2021 and 2022. It's going to be a very tricky one. As you weigh in on that, also we are still deliberating on policies that are going to come in handy to help us stay afloat, to help us, get to the recovery aspect of things. It is not easy.
It's not easy. And again, you see, there are other matters also. There are also other variables in this debate. You see, for instance, if we are going to create new constituencies, we must create them. Article 89 of the Constitution says we must create them at least 12 months to elections.
Okay.
That's it.
That's contested, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's contested.
That's why I'm looking at you. Yes, all right.
Yeah. That's my reading. He will give his interpretation. So there are things we need to do early. And if we don't do them early, we may have problems. And I like the fact that Fred talks about the court's intervention at certain stages of this process, because it is very easy for people to challenge certain processes from the way things are going in this BBI thing. I did not want to talk about whatever the matters that are in court, the same way Fred doesn't want to talk about them. I also have a reason why I don't want to talk about them.
Yes.
Because
I would not even allow us to do it in depth because there are matters in court, and so...
the court considers matters based on facts. And some of those facts are so heavy. If we start discussing them here, we'll end up with a lot of headache. But I'm only talking about now the matters that are before us now. We have to be very careful, and because they are delicate. And I can go back to the creation of constituencies, for instance, which is the mandate of the IBC. They usually take time doing that process. I'm sure you've been around when they are creating constituencies. They take time, and because they've got to go around and consult people. That is what the Constitution demands of them. The Constitution does not expect them to sit in Nairobi and create constituencies. It demands of them to go out and consult. We may bypass some of these things because they may be politically correct to bypass them. But that is, the law demands that they go out and talk to people and understand what's going on before they create those constituencies. So it's important that we really be keen on how we want to proceed with this process as matters stand now, so that we don't lose focus. If we lose focus, everything may just go to waste. Somebody will go to court and just challenge the entire process, and we may have a problem.
Fred, in response as we close.
I think what is clear is that all factors remaining constant, there's nothing to worry about. The issues of delimitation of electoral units as provided for Article 89, particularly 89 sub-article 2, sub-article 3.
Yeah.
Because the argument also that has gone out there is that the BBI, by extension Kenyan people, usurped the role of IEBC. I think it's a lie. It's a lie because the Constitution allows IEBC to do delimitation that requires renaming boundaries, relooking at the boundaries and the numbers. But they can only look at the numbers of words as contemplated in Article 3. I mean, in sub-article 3, Article 89, sub-article 83. In Article 89, sub-article 2, they shall delimit or look at the boundaries and names of constituency, not the number. What the BBI has proposed is 70 constituency, so that can implement the constitutional principle of fair representation and equality of vote in Article 81, sub-article D. That is a fact. Number two, to that extent, if you look at all these things, the bill under the consequential provisions also says that after 6 months upon enactment of the bill, IEBC shall now review the 70, the boundaries of 70 constitutions, their names, as provided for in the bill, and therefore they are not usurping any role. So if you read proper in letter and spirit Article 89, it gives you the feeling that it is even strengthening the work of IEBC. What people have failed to understand is that how did we arrive at the 70? They are forgetting that these are propositions from the people. It is the people who said we want this. But looking at the numbers of the census, there are regions in this country that are highly populated and only have one representation. The Constitution requires that every representation must meet the population quota. That population quota gives a number of a percentage, 30 to 40 in urban areas or 40 in rural areas, and that it translates to 130%. I mean, 130,000, 132,000 of the population to be represented by one representative. Some areas have got 600, 500. So that is a constitutional principle that we must implement. Number two, and the last one, the issue around delimitation of boundaries must happen within 8 to 10 years. Okay? But if it falls a year before the election, then the implementation, the delimitation shall not be factored in the subsequent or the next election. What is happening today? The bill has, for avoidance of doubt, they have been categorical that Article 89, sub-article 4 that I've just talked about does not apply in this case. It means the boundaries that are going to be included shall be factored in the 2022 election, if we'll have election.
Okay. Hey, all right. We do not even want to continue with this conversation if we'll have an election.
You see, that is exactly what I'm saying. There are very many factors involved here.
Yes.
And Fred is now just alluding to the same.
Okay.
I don't know what he means by if we have elections. It's a very pregnant point.
I know, right? Probably we'll have a conversation on that some other time. Just
Lina, the fact is, and I agree with my brother, the fact is, whatever is happening in this country today is beyond constitutionalism. It's an issue that we have to be realistic about. The COVID-19 is not a joke. Yesterday we lost a member of parliament.
That's true.
A brave man, a humble man, a leader, a servant. We lost him. We have lost several others. We have lost so many Kenyans. It is a fact that this disease, if not checked, if Kenyans don't work with the government of the day, it can finish an entire nation.
That's true.
That is a fact. Do you want to go for an election, a general election, with only 10 people lining up? No. You don't want that. And the president doesn't want that. Raila Odinga doesn't want that. Mudavadi, Kalonzo, Weta, they don't want that. Or Dr. William Ruto, our friend, don't want that. What we are saying is we have to look at these keenly. As we prepare for referendum, as we prepare for election 2022, we must also be cognizant that Kenyans are the same people going to be participants. So we secure them first. Even as we secure them, we also plan for those two activities. But I'm saying, the reason I'm using the word if, is because there's a possibility that this disease can be stronger and then it deny us opportunity to elect our leaders or to participate in the referendum. If that happens, you go back to the supreme law. What does the Constitution say when an event has got a constitutional timeline and there's something objecting or stopping it from happening? You just extend the term of parliament and then buy time. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Fred Okango and Michael Leo.
In short, we've not seen the last of COVID.
You've not seen the last of COVID?
We haven't seen.
Yes.
It's still mutating.
Yes.
We are still coming up with
We can have it for another 3 years. Who knows?
There could be even more dangerous strains that are coming up.
All right.
Along the way.
Okay. Gentlemen, I think we close it at that. Because what else is there to say? I mean, we do not even want to start this conversation on whether we're going to have an election or not, because if we start on that one, then evidently there is so much fear that comes along with that. I think it's only fair that we take a quick break. I'm being told that we probably have some 20 more minutes. We'll ponder on what we touch on right after this, but let's take a quick break and then we come back with more.
As the country gears up, how well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates.
The position of the Prime Minister will go to a party with the most elected members.
I clearly know that neither Raila nor Ruto are in the work plan on the roadmap for transition as far as the government is concerned.
Informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs, and music bands.
Back to the seasons of my youth.
Every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Did you know that your business keeps our economy running?
You need the skill, not the papers.
Always tell yourselves, one day at a time. You can't do everything under one roof.
Over time, I've had to realize that good things take time.
The Grind, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Before the markets open, farmers begin their day, each with a desire to produce the best. But how can they increase the numbers, maintain the standards,
Aitoi ile garlic inafaa itoi, that standard garlic.
reduce the cost,
We spread our risk.
and yet remain the best? Kilimo Diaries, every Sunday when the clock hits 7:30 p.m. Owning a home is a keystone to wealth. And building one can be quite daunting. Well, the Realtor gives you the do's and don'ts.
There so many brokers in the market who just want to tell you I can be able to supply.
And groundbreaking.
So we clear the area and we set out the place where the house is going to be laid down.
We talk homes, land, and property.
With me, Currency Daniel.
Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Next episode of Coffee with the Movie.
But today I'm with Bamboo, the African band too.
It's funny how the enemy uses ladies a lot.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, but his statue, it looked like the angel of death or something like that, with a black robe and a skeleton and it's holding a pole.
Yeah.
With it's a sickle. It's
Catch this story every Sunday at 8 p.m. As the country gears up, how well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates.
The position of the Prime Minister will go to a party with the most elected members.
I clearly know that neither Raila nor Ruto are in the work plan on the roadmap for transition as far as the government is concerned.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and I'd call it the last beat of the conversation. Still with me, Fred Okango, Secretary General, Third Way Alliance Public Policy Analyst, Mike Olio, as we get to wind up on this process of the BBI. Not necessarily winding it up, because then, well, it's a conversation that keeps going on until that point where we see we get to the end of the process. Fred, it's a process that risks are, possible litigations, possible challenges in courts, and so to speak. I mean, based on the public participation aspect that we've seen out of the individuals that we speak about, and in fact, even at the level of the parliament, it has delayed further, because then Parliament felt like, they probably needed to deliberate on it some more, based on what concerns were raised with the individuals that appeared before them. So, just looking at it and overlooking the possibility of how it might face more court battles, what would you say? What would be your argument, especially on this one that we were just talking about before we came back from the break, in regards to the IEBC and the argument of the IEBC at that point when it was appearing before Parliament?
Mr. Wafula Wanyonyi Chebukati appeared before Parliament during the public participation process. He alluded to the fact that the 70 constituencies were irregularly allocated and against the role of the Commission, which is not entirely true in my opinion, because the Constitution of Kenya in Article 89 requires the Commission to do boundary delimitation or delimitation of electoral units within 8 to 12 years. It is time that now Kenya does that. However, the BBI proposal has proposed the number of constituencies to be 70 so that they can implement the provision of equality of vote based on the numbers, and that's a fact. And therefore, they have proposed the number. What IBC is supposed to do is to review the number of wards and the boundaries and names of the constituencies. They are not reviewing the number of constituencies, because the Constitution already says there shall be 290 constituencies. And the BBI has proposed 360. So it's only the people who can propose the number to be added, which has been done. Number two, the issue of public participation is a gray area, because we don't have a Public Participation Act. To what level do you say now we have done public participation? The general principle is that in public participation, the views of the public must be incorporated in the final decision making. But here is a case where we are going through a popular initiative, as now know. The extent of public participation in the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill has been massive. The first stage of public participation started with propositions, where people gave their views. The second stage, endorsement through signatures. The third stage, county assemblies, which overwhelmingly passed by more than the required constitutional threshold of 24. The fourth stage of public participation is the parliament. Now, in parliament, this bill, I saw some people trying to play politics, saying, you know, we need to amend it. You're amending it as who? Because you are a stranger in the amendment of Popular Initiative Bill as Parliament. Your role is to facilitate public participation, and therein you inform the public of the content, the public inform you their views.
And the person in the capacity of James Orengo equally arguing.
Those are politics, forget about that.
Is this so?
Politics. And you know, politics is played in so many ways.
Right.
James Orengo knows that very well.
He's a proponent, remember.
But the issue here is, Linda, it's not even about what Orengo said. What Orengo said can be true. I mean, it's his interpretation. The issue here is, Linda, this bill has been endorsed by the public.
Okay.
The moment you change it, you are rendering that process moot, because you shall have interfered with the endorsement of the public. The members of parliament practice a delegated role from the people. Their legislative authority comes from the people, and that role is delegated sovereign power in Article 1. So you cannot change the wishes of your bosses. That is, the bosses are the people of Kenya. They have said they want this, you cannot change it. The members of parliament can only debate the bill on its merits or demerits, approve or reject. Once that happens, they have the last final public participation process called the referendum. That is when now people go and say, do we want it or we don't want it? That will come. Then the issue of public participation again, the courts have pronounced themselves. They have said the public participation must be elaborate and it must be seen to have happened. And that's why I agree with Parliament when they take time to ensure that that happens. They took over 7 days and that happened. So to me, I think that level of participation was okay. And because this bill, you cannot amend it, even a comma, only typographical errors if they're there, you cannot now start saying, let us relook at the number of 70 constituencies, how did they come about? While the county assembly members had an equal opportunity. Remember, the assemblies and the National Assembly mirror, and the parliament, they mirror. Why didn't we tell the assemblies to do that? Because they know that that's not their role. So National Assembly must desist from the excitement to wanting to amend this bill. It is not in their place.
All right. IABC in 9 million Dubai trip for boundaries review training. Mike.
Yeah. These foreign trips, they serve pecuniary purposes. People make a lot of money from these foreign trips, because I don't understand why those courses cannot be done here.
Yeah.
We have very, very learned people in Kenya today, in our universities, in our colleges, who can do all these trainings here. But it makes a lot of sense for those who want to make money to always fly out and go do them. So that is my take.
Okay.
I just understand the rationale behind those foreign trips, and I just want to leave it at that point. I don't think there was a very good reason for them to fly out. That is one. Now, I wanted to go back to what Fred said about Jim Orengo. You know, there is the politics and the law in matters of BBI. Kina Jim have been politicking about this matter. They all know that they cannot amend. The Constitution does not allow them to amend this thing. Because if they amend it, then we must now start afresh. And collect new signatures. We must start collecting signatures again, because now it is a completely different document. It is not the one that was taken to the people and
okay.
deliberated at the counties and voted upon. But there is always politics. And I said at the beginning that people are looking for certain assurances. Okay? And people are negotiating in very subtle ways. You know, politicians negotiate in very subtle ways and very unclear
terms.
That is what they are doing now. Even the delays in Parliament, even all these things, they are stratagems for positioning so that their interests are taken care of, political interests, all those interests. So, but we are heading on.
Okay.
We are heading on pretty well. I don't see any problem with the BBI. It will go on. My only challenge would only be the COVID thing. It may complicate our lives. If it does, it will be very unfortunate.
Right.
But what was your question again?
My question would have been then, the challenge could be the COVID-19. How about the IEBC as it stands, as it's constituted, as it is? Do you suppose then it does not pose a challenge to this process, knowing very well that then it should be the body that spearheads the same?
You know, IEBC, I watched when Mr. Chebukati appeared in Parliament, and I listened to his submissions in full. And since he did it in person and is the chair of IEBC, my interpretation would be that that is the official position of the entire IEBC.
Yes.
And that means if that is their official position, they will not be reluctant to go to court if they feel that their interests have been threatened.
Okay.
Because they believe that it is their mandate that has been taken away. Now, they will go and seek interpretation. From the look of things, I don't see how they will not do so, because they feel that part of their mandate has been taken away, constitutional mandate.
IEBC stands as a challenge for this process, and even if it's not a challenge, if we get to the level of a referendum, do you have the confidence of this electoral body, carrying the process?
I am very confident in our institutions as a Kenyan.
Okay.
In fact, I'm very, I'm optimistic in our institutions, I'm optimistic in our parliament, in our judiciary, in our commissions. They have done a superb job, apart from a few elements that the institutions that are relevant are dealing with. IEBC has done a wonderful job under the leadership of Chebukati. They have conducted by-elections amidst pandemic, and they have come out stronger, and the election have been verified and found to be legally binding. So in matters referendum, the commission is properly constituted. The constitution says that there shall be at least 3 and not more than 9 commissioners under Article 250. IEBC commissioners are 7, and therefore they are able to conduct business. Number 2, there is an existing secretariat in the IEBC that runs day-to-day activity. The commissioner's name is to do policy and implementation. So for me, the referendum will happen with the current IEBC. In fact, this IEBC as it is can even conduct an election. So there's nothing wrong. I am confident that Chebukati and the team are suitable, capable, and competent to do the job. They will do it.
Do you confidently say that the processes during the by-elections were as good, were straight enough to probably warranty the accolades from the people in terms of how they handled it? Because from what I hear, a couple of people that I've hosted, they felt like, IEBC could have as well disbanded these processes, because with the tenets of violence and animosity.
I get what you're saying, Linda.
Yeah.
It is not an inefficiency from IEBC.
Is it
That
so?
is an inefficiency from the politicians who are fanning violence and trying to bribe voters. It's not the work of IEBC.
But IEBC is in a capacity to render that null and void.
IEBC is not the court. It's only the court that can do that.
All right.
So if you are aggrieved, go to court, present your facts, and the court will act. It's not in IEBC's place. IEBC conducted a free, fair, and verifiable election. And those by-elections have stood the test of time. What I'm congratulating IEBC for doing, they did this amid a pandemic that is ravaging this country. Their employees, their officers, were at risk of contracting COVID. And we also told some of them, there's one I think who passed on. May their soul rest in peace. But IEBC have been very steadfast. They have done this to the best of their ability, and we want them to continue doing that. What we are saying today is that as they are, There's nothing stopping Chebukati and team from conducting a general election or a referendum.
They could have met the threshold, yes, and the quorum, so to speak, but they are understaffed from what it is that we know. And going back to history, at some point in time, Chebukati himself acknowledging that, you know what, there's too much for them to handle at that particular time when they were in full capacity. And now we're coming to this point, and they're dealing with so much. So many by-elections await them. I mean, this one, the latest, of course, Kiamba. And so much so, processes are playing out in regards to changes of the constitution, talking of the by-elections, talking of the numerous things that they're supposed to handle. Do they really stand well constituted, so to speak?
Two things. One, I want to support what Fred said. IBC is very competent.
Okay.
And they've done a good job so far. In the last by-elections that you mentioned, where there was some incidents of violence or bribery, let's not forget that IBC is also there to secure public interest.
Mm-hmm.
If some people went to cause violence so that the elections could be nullified, it would be very unfortunate. So it was important that the IBC went ahead with the process and declared the winner, so that whoever wanted to challenge could go to court and nullify the outcome.
Okay.
But it would have been very unfair if people stage managed violence and then they demand that IBC now cancels the election.
Mm-hmm.
That would be unfair.
Mm.
That is one. Two, you've talked about the many things, the by-elections in the hands of IBC, the constitutional amendments. I think IBC is competent.
It's up to
At
them.
least I've interacted with IBC for very many years.
Mm-hmm.
They have very well-staffed departments that handle these matters.
Okay.
I don't think
ODM
they are
would
going to
probably
be...
tell you otherwise, though they are now speaking of a referendum.
No. I told you earlier that, you know, there is always the politics and the law.
The rooting out of this was part of the irreducible minimums.
Yes, there is always the politics and the law.
Okay.
ODM have their own issues, which could be political. I have not read anything that ODM has said which is legal. A legal complaint against IBC. All their complaints against IBC are political, and they have a right to raise political arguments against IBC. But as far as I'm concerned, I think IBC is doing a good job, and they are up to par, and they've done a good job since they came into office, particularly this one. Even though some commissioners resigned, and we remain with only 3, but those 3 have worked well.
Mm-hmm.
At least I've interacted with them, and I can tell you.
Okay.
They've done a good job so far.
All right. Well, gentlemen, asante sana for the great insights. In a minute or so, every of you would get that chance to give their parting shots. I'd want to believe that you also want to pass your messages of condolences. Well, I'm not trying to dictate what it is that you're supposed to say.
I think we are at a time when Kenya is undergoing a lot of difficulties, and I must thank Kenyans for being resilient, and I want them to continue being resilient. But even as they do that, they also have to put the government in place to account, so that their lives are secured. The president and his team have done a good job so far. There could be challenges here and there. We encourage him and his government to ensure that they put the lives of Kenya first, and anything else second, because that is why they become, they got into position of leadership. As politicians, also we should stop the rhetorics that will instill fear that the process is collapsing, I don't know who is going to be endorsed. Those are issues that Kenyans don't want to hear today. If all politicians today, me included and others, would start saying how they are going to secure lives of Kenyans, then Kenyans will be happier.
Yeah.
And then after that, we go into an election, referendum, and the rest. I think that's okay. But as we do that also, let's also follow processes that are seen to be validating the needs of Kenyans.
Okay. Thank you.
It's my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to the president and Honorable Raila. They gave us the handshake in the interest of the people. They came up with the BBI, then the task force was formed. It went around the country, collected views, and we have realized a lot of peace within that period of time. Should there be issues within that arrangement, I think they better sit down, the two of them, and agree on the best way forward. It was their baby, and it still is their baby, and the country embraced that initiative, and the country has really supported that initiative so far up to now.
Yeah.
It's important that the two of them get together and agree on, if there are any issues that need to be addressed, I think they better get down and address those issues early enough, so that other forces do not come in and start giving us all sorts of sideshows and distractions that we are seeing. Because there's a lot of drama. And we really don't know whether the drama is in the interest of the president himself or the drama is in the interest of Honorable Raila. We would, as Kenyans, wish that they offer direction and give guidance so that the country moves together as united as before.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mike Oleo, public policy expert, and we also had Fred Okango, Secretary General, Third Way Alliance. It was good having you, gentlemen. Asante sana. And coming up, of course, we're getting into the gym. We loosen up and we get to, just feel good. After all, we say some people who are working remotely could probably use this as lessons and, just, keep fit. We're saying most of us are at home eating, and we tend to forget, that we need to take care of our bodies. So why don't you do that at this particular moment on the next segment? But importantly, a reminder of tomorrow. Good Friday is here. Easter weekend is here. As we say that, times are tough. We are at home, we are locked somewhere, and we're not able to move. You can still have a beautiful one, courtesy of Morning Cafe. Tomorrow we'll be at the Ngong Hills Hotel with lots of music and entertainment, and we'll also be having lots of goodies for you. We get into the kitchen, we enjoy the moments, we also show you what is there that you probably would take advantage of and go out there with family for a staycation. We say we cannot go to the coast, but that does not mean Nairobi is short of nice places that you can visit. Why don't you take advantage of that? And so we'll be taking you through that tomorrow. Importantly, we'll have goodies for you. We have Mizizi Africa Homes who will be sponsoring this program tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming through, Mizizi Africa Homes. You can check them out. They also have goodies in terms of land and houses that they can set up for you. Why don't you start taking care of your future as early as now? We do not forget Zawadi, the band that will be giving us that chance also of entertainment courtesy of Pitson and his band too, that will be giving us that moment of entertainment right from 6 a.m. and up until 9 a.m. We also do not forget the goodies from Valentine's Cake House. We'll have a cake for you, at least if you do not have the Easter balls and the Easter eggs and everything, then at least you have a cake from Valentine's Cake House. So make sure that you keep it here tomorrow as we look forward to an incredible Easter weekend. And so on that note, let's cross over to the different segment altogether. That should be after this break.
As the country gears up, how well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates.
The position of the Prime Minister will go to a party with the most elected members.
I clearly know that neither Raila nor Ruto are in the work plan on the roadmap for transition as far as the government is concerned.
Informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs, and music bands.
Back to the seasons of my years.
Every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Did you know that your business keeps our economy running?
You need the skill, not the papers.
Always tell yourselves, one day at a time. You can't do everything under one roof.
Over time, I've had to realize that good things take time.
The Grind. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Before the markets open, farmers begin their day, each with the desire to produce the best. But how can they increase the numbers, maintain the standards,
Aitoi ile garlic inafaa itoi, that standard garlic.
reduce the cost,
we spread our risk,
and yet remain the best? Kilimo Diaries, every Sunday when the clock hits 7:30 p.m. Owning a home is a keystone to wealth. And building one can be quite daunting. Well, the Realtor gives you the do's and don'ts.
Some so many brokers in the market who just want to tell you I can be able to supply.
And groundbreaking.
So we clear the area and we set out the place where the house is going to be laid down.
We talk homes, land, and property.
With me, currency Daniel.
Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Next episode of Coffee with the Movie.
But today I'm with Bamboo, the African band too.
Funny how the enemy uses ladies a lot.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, his statue, it looked like the angel of death or something like that, with a black robe and a skeleton and it's holding a pole.
Yeah.
With it's a sickle. It's
Catch this story every Sunday at 8 p.m. As the country gears up for possible BBI referendum and 2020.
Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm told we're going to do Airo Zumba, so stay tuned as we entertain you, educate you. Because actually, this is education, isn't it? So this is education.
Very education.
Yeah, so make sure that you come out with change. Lazima mtu change. Si mtu anaweza fanya tu.
Ni vizuri uko na kitu flexible Ni mzuri because jeans unajua itakubana kufanya kitu kama nia hapo hivi.
Alright, so we are here like in the next about 35 minutes. You still have time. You can go change and join us.
Of course.
Coach Tosh. I call you Coach Tosh, but unatakanga nikuite Instructor Tosh. Instructor Tosh and Zan.
Because you're rhyming pia.
Inaingia vizuri. Coach Tosh ni no. So here we go.
Haya basi. So hi guys. As always, Instructor Tosh with my colleague Dan here. So today I want us to do something, I won't call it different, we're just going to incorporate a few aerobics part and Zumba part movements in it. So we're kind of dancing a bit, we're kind of working out still. All of it is workout.
All right.
So get ready. I won't tell you to sit down, I'll just tell you to stand up, clear your ground, and we start workout, right?
Right.
Okay, so like we said, we always start with stretches. Every time when you work out, when you start your workout and when you end your workout, you always start with some stretches. So we're going to do a few of those. So we ready?
Ready.
Okay. Put your left hand to your back, then your right hand above behind your ear and stretch down. Go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then you change side. All the way, let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we stretch our knees. Okay, stability. Before you do this, you find stability on the leg that you're going to be standing up with. Then you just lift your other leg and stretch all the way up slowly. Find stability. We're good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Change your leg. Make sure it's stable before you start lifting the other leg up. Slowly find the stability and stretch it out. Very nice. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Step into the back. I want us to stretch our legs from this side back. Stability. All right. There we are. So both hands and go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Doing good. Okay. The next one, slowly up. Maybe a bit shaky. Doing good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So, with your hands wide open, you move your left hand to your left toes, then lift your right hand all the way up and stretch. Feel a stretch on your hamstring and your glutes and sides. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Changing side slowly. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. We ready? Ready. Warming up. We do a few warm-up workouts. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of jump. We call them sumo squats. Very easy. Jump front squat and back. Front squat and back. Sumo squats. Now, if you'll not be able to jump all the way to that position and back, you can just squat from that position and up. You can walk front and step back. Step to the front and squat. Step to the back and squat. Same thing. Okay, so we're ready. We're doing 10 of those. 3, 2, and 1. Sumos, give me 10. 1. All right, give me 2. Give me 3. Jump and squat. Give me 4. There you are. All right, give me 5. All right, 6. Very nice. 7, 8. Wow. 9. The last one, 10. Okay. So as we warm up, we're going to do a squat and twist. We're doing a squat and twist. So this is how it goes. Twist is a knee up and an elbow. So you're working on your lower body and your sides and glutes too, but still full body because you're using your arms all the way up. So we're doing 10 of those. Then we're ready. 3, 2, 1, squat and twist. 1. 2. Make sure you squeeze this part. 3. Yeah, there you go. 4. Doing good. 5. Okay. 6. Strong. 7. 2 more. 8. All the way up. 9. The last one. And 10. All right. For our last warm up, we're doing a lunge and a kick. So lunge and a kick, a lunge and a kick, a lunge and a kick. If you can't see it properly with this posture, so leg to the back, lunge is a back lunge and a kick to the front, a back lunge and a kick to the front. So you're doing 10 of each. Okay? So we're ready. Throw, 1, and go. Launch. And kick. Let's go 2. Very nice. 3, 4, 5. You're doing it.
Can you support yourself?
6. If you have no stability, of course, it's okay. 7. As you gain it. 8. Strong, 2 more. 9. The last one, 10. All right. Going to the next leg. You good?
Yes, we are.
We're just warming up, huh?
Okay.
Fine. 3, 2, 1. Going back. Lunge and kick. 1. Let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Strong. Let's go. 7. Energy. Let's go. 8. Very nice. 9. The last one, and 10. Okay. We're good. All right. So we're starting the class now.
Okay.
So give us the music.
All right.
We're dancing. Be flexible all the way. Workouts. Okay. This high intense workout. Okay. At home. Follow the movement. Give me a match. One more. 3 more. 2 more. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. There you are. There you are. There you are. All right. Everybody is visible now. 4 more. And 3. 2 more. All right. Enjoying it. Move your body as you work out. Aero Zumba. Be flexible. Give me a wide march. A wide march. And 4. And 3. 2 more. All right. One more time, narrow march. And 4. And 3. 2 more. Side to side. Walk on your shoulders. Let's go. Up. More. And 3. 2 more. Wider march. Let's go. And 4. And 3. 2 more. Give me a front tap. Give me a front tap. Give me a front tap. Let's go. Squeeze it down. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Pull it back. Pull it back. Nice one. Doing good. All right. Okay, to the side. To the side. 4 more. Pull it. Walk on your back. 4 more. 3 more. Back to the top. Aerobics too. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Here you go. All right. Give me a twist. Give me a twist. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. All right. Nice one. 3 more. 2 more. Give me a punch and a block. And punch and block. Punch and a block. 4 more. Give 1. 2. 3. Strong punches. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Enjoy the music. All right. We're there. Stepping back. Let's go. Here we go. As we change. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. All right. Going there. Changing it. Punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block. 4 more. 3 more. Last 4. 3 more. 2 more. Changing it. Changing it. Changing 4. Give me 5 and 4. 3 more. 2 more. Front raise it. Front straight up. Swap. Shoulder walkout. Very slow, but effective. Feel the music. Bend on it a bit. Bend on it a bit. Step into the back. Across. Take it across. Side to side. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Both of them up. Let's go. Take it down. Take it down. All right. 4 more. 3 more. All the way up. Let's go. Last 4. And 3. 2 more. Hands on your waist. Give me a step touch. Give me a step touch. All right. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Squeeze your elbows. Squeeze your elbows. Squeeze your elbows. Last 4. And 3. 2 more. Everybody there. Turning, twisting. Then you drop it down. Drop it down. Slowly. Slowly. Alright. Crunch it. Very easy. Very easy. Work on your glutes as you dance. Very nice. Okay, side to side. Step touch. Then you take it down. Take it down. You're doing good. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Following it up. Step touch. Give me a squat. Hands on the front. Let's go. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Pull it back from that point. Pull it. Pull it. Pull it. Going up. Going up. Going up. Going up. Last 4. And 3. 2 more. That position. That position. Nice one. Sit. Last 4. Dropping it down. Last 2. Last 1. Step touch. Aerobic still. Whoop. Punch. 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 Shoulder press. Shoulder press. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Last 4. And 3. Down to 2. Hands on your waist. Give some curls. Last 4. And 3. 2 more. Let's go. Bend on it. Bend on it. Pull it up. Give me that curl. Walk on your arm strength. 1 time. Let's go. All right. 4 more. 3 more. Now pull it down. We put some rhythm in it. Okay. So take a side. Side, side, side. Dropping it. Dropping it. Nice one. Pull it down. Give me side. Give me side. Last 4. And 3. 2 more. Nice one. Step touch. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. We're going to do a 2 steps to the left in 3, 2, 1. And let's go to the step. 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2. Give me a tap. And tap. Okay. Energy, people. Enjoy the music. 4 more. Like 1. The last 4. And 3. 2 more. Give me a punch on the same. Aero 2. Aero Zumba. Last 4. And 3. Alternate punches. Going up. Going down. Going up. Going down. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Give me a knee up. Whoop. Yeah. Give me a run. Jogging it up. All right. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. A double time on that side. Then you give me a twist like this. Give me a twist. Let's go. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 3 times now. Let's go 3 times. And 1 and 2 and 3. Hold it up. And 1 and 2 and 3. Hold it up. And 1 and 2 and 3. Give me a twist. 1 more and 3. Alright, we advance it. Take it round. We take it round, okay? We take it round. Alright. Give me a round up. Very easy. Alright. Give me a match, give me a match, give me a match. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Okay. So you take it down. One more time. Down and up. One more time. And down and up. So you can pick it down and go up. All the way down. Take it up. One more time. Alright. Take it out. One more time up. Alright. Give me a two. I'm in the mood, man. Let's go. Give me a joke, give me a joke, give me a joke, give me a joke. Alright. So, we're going like this. So this side, and twist your body. One more. Last one. Step touch. And step and touch and step and touch and step and touch. Give me kicks now. Simple kicks. Simple kicks. Simple kicks. Punches to the other way up. One more. Hope you're enjoying this. Hey, you're following? All right. Other way up. Other way up. Other way up. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. All right. Give me a step touch. Give me a step touch. Give me a step touch. Very good. 4 more. Enjoy it. Nice one. Oh yeah. Pull it. 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 Last 4 and 3. 2 more. Pull it down. I go down. 4 more. Aye. Inside, 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 inside. Okay? Step touch. So you go like this. Give me a step. 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 So, this is a step. One more. 4 more. 3 more. Are you with me this one? All right, give me a match. Aero Zumba. So you're doing it very simply. We start here. Up. Shoulders. Waist. Then take your front and side all the way up to the shoulders, to your waist. Then move around one more time up. Shoulders to your waist. Move it. 1, 2, 3. Go take it up. Shoulders, waist. All right. March one more time. You're doing it one more time. Now you learn what you're doing. All right. 3, 2, 1. Waist walk now. Let's go. Up, go. 4 more. Step touch, step touch. All the way up. Let's go. Pull it, pull it, pull it. Energy. Hey, side to side. Walk on your side. Twist your waist. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Take it down. Take it down. Take it down. Take it down. Going up. Very nice. Hey, give me a tap. Give me a tap, give me a tap. We're still working out, people. You're still working out. Shoulder press. Shoulder press. Shoulder press. Last 4. And pray. Down 2. All the way up. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Squeeze them up. Elbow squeeze. Elbow squeeze. Elbow squeeze. 4 more. Down 3. 2 more. Hands on your waist. We're going to do a 4 step forward. 3 step forward, I mean. All the way like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tap. 1, 2, 3. Tap. 1, 2, 3. Tap. 1, 2, 3. All right. Very easy. All right. Catching it up. We go. 4 more. 3 more. With the music. All right. Knee ups now. Knee up. And 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 knee up. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it down. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Single side. All the way. All the way. All the way. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Intensifying it. Last 4. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it down. Squeeze it down. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Step touch. Give me a match. As we advance it, some high intense, intensifying it. Last 4 and 3. All right, here we are. So we're doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and give me a squat and a squat with a twist of your shoulders. Okay. So good. And switch and 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a 4 more. 2 more and 1, 2, 1. All right. 4 more. 3 more. You do a squat and twist and squat and twist with a rhythm and squat and twist, squat and twist. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And last one. And we wind up our class.
Yeah, we did. We wind up our class.
We're winding up our class.
Oh, all right.
So we're going to do a few of stretches.
Yes.
As we wind up.
All
a
right.
few stretches and abs. Abs you can do just standing up. You don't have to go up. So we can start to the side. We take it down, back up, down, back up. We work on your sides and lower back area. Okay? So ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's go. 1, 2, there we go. 3, strong. 4, all right. 5, 6, 7. Give me 8. 2 more, 9. And the last one, 10. Changing side, holding this point, and let's go to the other side. 1. Feel that crunch, should come here. 2, as you bend to your left. 3, it all the way. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Elbows to your 8, to your tummy. 9 and 10. Changing side. All right. And give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, strong, 7, 8, 9, and the last one, 10. Okay.
It's a wrap.
Right,
Yeah?
it's
Oh,
a
there's
wrap.
one more, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should stretch. Okay, you feel that stretch all over here. Very nice. And 5, 4, 3, 2, right up. Stretch your back. 5, 4, 3, 2, side a bit. 5, 4, 3, 2, and change. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right.
You breathe now. Take a breath.
That is also
You just
part of the
breathe.
exercise.
You just
Thank
breathe.
you. Well, what do I say? See you again next Thursday on Fitness Thursday. It was good having you. I'm sure you've picked something that is going to be helpful for you. You don't expect me to have the energy that I had when I was starting. But then again, well, this is helpful. If at all, we have to maintain this energy.